the settings. You just watch me pacing around the room.
Oh my god.
Turning a light.
We should have streamed that. We've spent like 10 minutes fucking with the green screen. And I think it might have been caused because the problem started before I accidentally hit that contrast.
Yeah, as soon as we sat down.
Everything was fucked.
Yeah.
I've been adjusting the lights recently, trying to make it like less intense in my eyes.
Yes, yeah.
But for some reason, when the two of us sat down, the green screen's like, "Fuck you!
I want intense lights.
I don't want to work today. I don't really want to do the work today." Have you seen that?
No.
I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't want to do the work today.
Is this Adventure Time?
It's like this weird. It's this weird like play that someone put on, and it's called like Firebringer or something.
Oh.
And there's this one piece of music from it that's just brilliant and perfect, and the rest of it's just kind of like mediocre.
Okay.
To bad, but that one thing is like perfect.
It's got a total Adventure Time cadence.
Yeah, it really does.
Or the way you sing. Maybe you're a Finn singer. I don't want to work today.
What the very first Adventure Time thing before the show? Do you remember that when it was just it was just a short on Nickelodeon?
Oh no!
And like someone's like, "How old are you?" And Finn's like, "I'm 13" or whatever he says, and Jake's like, "I'm 28." Doug Space Nine. Doug Space Nine. Doug Space Nine. Doug Space Nine. Asteroid noises. Hello, we're here. We're late today.
Technical difficulties. Not under control.
It wouldn't be the season finale of season 1 without horrible technical difficulties to start us off. Jesse. Are we even live? I didn't even check. Yeah, we're live.
I've told you before that this whole thing could just be, like, none of this could work. It's all just it's like a mind game, and you're the Telosians.
Yeah, and you are in a wheelchair.
And I'm Pike.
You're Pike in a wheelchair. That's what you get when you vape using the warp core. What's up, Justin? Good to see you, dude.
Oh yeah, warp core vaping.
Okay. We should freeze time when you blow it out, and I'll put a little smiley face in it, like Captain Picard. Boop, boop, boop. So, today we are talking about the last 2 episodes of Season 1 of Deep Space Nine. Mm-hmm. Very excited about this, because these episodes were actually, like, really, really great.
Probably best of the season, especially in the context of showing what the show becomes.
Yeah.
Because there are some earlier ones that I do really like as individual episodes, but as far as... And this whole season is very light on the mythology episodes, I guess is what you would say.
Totally.
But these are great.
So good. They finally, like, bring back the premise of the pilot and expand on it.
Yep.
And do such a good job with it.
Oh, I did do some memory alpha like dip into this one.
I did too.
That was specifically mentioned for the finale, which I thought was interesting. I never thought about that before, that it's not a cliffhanger. Which is a pretty classic Star Trek, season ending.
Right. I think it's like one of the strongest season enders.
Yeah.
In Star Trek, because it's not a cliffhanger. It stands on its own.
Yep.
It's like, this is what the show is. This is how far we've come in this season. Hey, Amanda, what's up? Good to see you.
Amanda.
Yeah, it's so good. And Duet is such a great episode. So when I first watched Deep Space Nine, when it first aired as a kid, I was like a diehard Next Generation fan, and this came on in what was it, 91?
I'm not sure when, but yeah, it was in Star Trek, and TNG was still on the air.
TNG was still on the air, yeah.
So it's got to be...
And, yeah, the very first episode, Picard's the bad guy.
Right.
And I'm like, what is this show? They're just stuck on the space station? This show's dumb. I didn't like it. And I remember watching Duet as a kid and being like, this is, like, too intense. I don't want to watch this show.
Right.
And then I remember seeing that exact same episode as a teenager. And hey, Amanda, thank you so much for the host.
While I'm saving the
I saw that exact episode as a teenager, and I was like, wow, that was so good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm old enough now to appreciate how good this is.
Yeah.
And Duet was in large part why I went back and started rewatching the show as a teenager, because I liked it so much.
I think a bulk of the 90s Trek, and even the classic Trek, can be enjoyed by a younger audience, for sure, with some stuff that may be a little too much, especially, like, there's some real intense stuff in TOS that is probably not kid-friendly.
Right.
But I think Deep Space Nine, it's not the same kind of thing. Like, you can... if you're watching it as a child or even as a young teen, I feel like there's a level of sophistication. Unless you're one of those like, I super follow the news. I'm really into.
You're like a old kid.
Yeah.
Like a young kid who's like an old soul.
Or curmudgeon at 14.
Yeah, exactly. Then maybe you'll like Deep Space Nine at 14. But yeah, it's a much more adult Star Trek.
Yeah.
And like Duet is the episode where that turns on.
Yeah, it's. I feel like it's why I liked Deep Space Nine and thought it was my favorite of all Star Treks until recently, because it is more nuanced in a lot of its positions of the classic Star Trek positions. It feels like it's a richer, deeper show, and these episodes here are where it now is finally. You're only seeing the tip of the iceberg now.
Yeah,
like we know what comes later, but nothing else in this season really hints or really gets to that promise of what can come.
Sure, and there's been good episodes like
for sure.
The Tosk episode I love, Captive Pursuit, and Dax is such a great episode.
Yep.
But for me, like the season starts out on such a high note with the Emissary two-parter, and then the season just kind of like meanders, and it's like, why does this show exist? Like why a space station?
Right.
Why did the producers of Star Trek decide to do this?
Right.
And then at the end of the season, it just like skyrockets in quality.
Right.
And it's like, oh my god, this is what you can do with this show. This is like powerful shit. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I've always wondered.
Look at us staying on topic, says Amanda. Well,
I tried.
Get ready, because I got some tangents coming up.
I've tried twice already to derail. I mentioned Telosians, and then I also said up until recently, DS9 was my favorite Trek.
Dude,
those are all my little.
Okay. At the top of the show, we have to talk about Discovery. Okay. Like, can we just make that a thing that we just
Discovery Space Nine.
Discovery Space Nine. Discovery Space Nine. Dude, I only watched one episode since the last time we did this, but it was the one with what's his name, Fishman.
Oh, Saru. Doug Jones.
Yeah, Saru's thing with his people on his planet, and you were saying how you didn't think I was gonna like that one, or you weren't sure if I was gonna like it.
I wasn't sure if you were gonna like that one.
I adored it.
Oh, okay.
I loved it.
I thought it was great.
I thought it was like top tier Star Trek. I fucking loved it.
You're gonna fucking explode when you see the next episode.
I can't even explain how much I love Discovery Season 2. It is wild. I fucking hated the first season.
Sure.
I hated it. I was like that angry fanboy.
Yeah.
I'm now like, it's what I look forward to watching every week. I make sure that I'm in like a good frame of mind where I'm ready to like pay attention to something before I turn it on.
Yeah.
And like just really sink my teeth into it. It's like nourishment.
It's following the Star Trek path, which is a really rocky first season.
Yeah.
And even that's the other thing is that this is its second season. We still have seen more Deep Space Nine episodes. We're still because there are these half seasons. So I think in not judging by season to season, but just by episode count, Discovery is killing it on that path of a rocky start and then eventually finding what it wants to do.
Episode count wise, you are correct.
Yeah.
Discovery is way better than Deep Space Nine by episode 15.
Right.
Deep Space Nine gets amazing at episode 18.
Yeah, and I mean, you look online, and I think you see a lot of people who are like, Deep Space Nine really starts taking off around season 3. Like, that's a lot of leeway,
to
give it a show.
But the thing is that like
same with Enterprise.
Season 1 of Deep Space Nine is still fun and
still
enjoyable.
Fun. It's still good,
and good episodes are peppered throughout it. And there's some bad shit in there, but there's also like dramatis personae. There's like a clock. There's like great shit in there that I really like.
What I feel like will happen is Discovery will get a 7-year run. You and I will revisit it, and then I'm gonna be more of like, all right, there are a lot of there are some turds laid on the floor in season 1, and you'll be like, season 1's a lot better than I remember it.
I doubt that.
I think we're gonna.
I doubt
because you will have a newfound love for the totality of Discovery.
Sure, I will. I'm sure I'll enjoy it more going. I don't know actually. Like even when they just show the last season on stuff, it just like riles me up. I'm
it's
just
so
like,
interesting.
Why did you do that? It is so stupid.
Also,
and bad.
you're at such a risk now because they've like had such a full turn.
Yeah,
they could easily lose that love and trust, and it would be more hurtful.
Oh my god!
Because it's like, no, but you showed me how good you could be.
Don't say that. No, that would be awful.
No, that's what Star Trek does, dude. It plays with your heart.
Well, the Saru episode was like exactly what Star Trek is supposed to be. And it was so similar to Duet, which was so... I watched them, like, back-to-back, like, within 2 days or something, and it was so similar, and it's so rewarding to see, like, Star Trek redo Duet in a new way that is brilliant. And it's, like, very different, but, like, the general premise of, like, these people have, like, subjugated us.
Right.
You know? And that can now end, and then how do we treat those people that have subjugated us?
Right.
And the answer from Star Trek is, like, with a little bit of understanding.
Yeah.
And, like, by not just assuming that they're all bad and, you know, trying to find a positive way forward. And that's, like, such a great message.
Yeah, agreed.
And the way that they did it, like, the way that Saru comes to that on Discovery was beautiful.
Yeah.
And fucking... I loved it. I loved it.
So what some people's complaints have been is... which is a classic complaint about just about every Star Trek, is the issues of prime directiveness. So I wasn't sure if that was going to be like a sticking point for you of like because that's the critique of this one is the amount of interference they're doing with a pre-warp society.
But I think that they addressed it in the episode. They said, like, this is a judgment call for the captain to make.
Because it's a warp society.
On one side.
Right. Who's fucking with a pre-warp society.
Exactly, yeah.
Even though they're both from the same world, they both evolved side by side. It's really interesting.
Right.
But I think it's a beautiful episode, and I love those entanglements.
And I like the fact that, I mean, what's been bothering me a lot on Discovery is, like, crew members do crazy shit that they should be fired for, and it goes unpunished, and it happens again in this episode.
Up to and including murder.
Yeah.
I mean, but to be fair, Data took the Enterprise a couple of times for joyrides, you know?
Well, what they did with Saru in this episode is classic. Like, one person takes a stand against his captain's orders, and it works out for the better, and they get rewarded for it.
Right.
And I like that. Yeah, cowboy diplomacy, totally. Wait, I missed what Justin said. You can see the Discovery episodes as they come out on British Netflix.
Yeah, US is the only place that has it under CBS All Access. All other regions, I believe, with Netflix have it now.
Right. I'm rewatching every season of Survivor with Andy, so I need that CBS All Access now.
I pirated Discovery through episode 5 or 6. I wasn't watching it as it came out.
Yeah.
And then I watched the pilot movie, and I was like, I'm signing up for CBS All Access. I'll finish watching these ones that I've downloaded because it's convenient for me.
Yeah.
But then I signed up right away because I was on board out of the gate, and still, like I said, I still stick with it.
I love the first episode a lot. Like, I did a podcast about it when it came out, and I was just like, oh, give me more. I love it so much. And then on episode 2 and 3, I was like, what? No.
I can't wait for you to watch the next one.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm like fully on board now.
Sorry, Amanda.
And there's terrible episodes in every first season of every Star Trek, and I fully admit that, and I'm fully ready to forgive the sins of Discovery season 1, especially because they fired the head writers.
But that's also like another trope.
I know, totally. Well, yeah, on TNG season 3, they let go like the entire writers' room and replaced it, and that's when the show gets good.
Well, and then there was the
writers' strike in season 2.
Yeah, well, and even season 1, they had gotten rid of some people. I heard as far as like showrunners, there were issues, and
there was like 3 showrunners by the time Michael Piller took over in season 3, and then like course corrected the show. But I think that the showrunners who ran season 1, like I watched all of After Trek, almost all of it. Some episodes I have to stop because it's terrible. But they came on a lot and they were talking about like what they were doing at the show, and I'm like, you're terrible. Like you don't understand Star Trek. You think what you're doing is great. You have this weird like chip on your shoulder about it, and I hate all of this. And then they got fired, and then the show got great. All of a sudden, and like now I feel like the show at its core is Star Trek. And understands what it means to be Star Trek. And I love it, and it's crazy.
I still have this secret fantasy without knowing a lot of the details that went on in the background. But I have this secret fantasy that the reason Brian Fuller left was a conflict with the showrunners from season 1. Now they've gone. Now they do a season 2 that's good, and then they're like, hey, you know what? What about Brian Fuller? Who's actually like super good at doing Star Trek.
Right, he's proven that in the past. Like he's written for Voyager and
DS9, done great episodes for both of them.
Did he write for DS9?
I believe my understanding is that's how he got started, was doing spec scripts.
That would be so cool to see.
I'll have to double check. It might have been Voyager. Wait. He might have come in on Voyager from out of the gate.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
I've realized I have to apologize to Doug I watched some of last week's episode because I like edited together that clip thing. Did you see that, by the way?
No.
I love it. But
Okay.
I made a little clip. It's called "Loaves of Bread Come Out of His Face," and it's just us screaming at each other a lot about the wig. It's up on YouTube. It's one of my favorite things on my YouTube channel.
Oh, awesome! I'll have to watch it for sure.
But in editing the footage, I was so excited about having like the new thing up last week, and I'm reading chat and I'm listening to you.
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
I realized that I like cut you off and like don't quite hear what you're saying a lot. I'm gonna try so much harder to make sure I'm hearing you.
What's gonna be funny? You're gonna be like, "Ooh, geez, I've really started tuning into what he's saying. I need to
Like, I gotta
shake up the co-host situation here."
Maybe we'll do like a George Space Nine or something else.
If no one knows,
Team dress. It's the wig, man. It's the wig. Come on.
Team dress.
It's the wig. It's warm in here. So because it's our season finale, I wanted to wear something special. I wore a Star Wars shirt.
Oh.
These are all little stormtroopers.
I almost wore my Star Wars flower print.
Oh, I love that shirt.
Yeah. I went with generic space.
That's the most jealous I've ever been for another man's shirt.
That's a great
shirt. It's so good. But because we confirmed that Star Wars and Star Trek in the same universe this season, I had to wear a Star Wars shirt. Justin, I want to ask more of your thoughts about season 1, but I don't want to contribute to derail further.
Yeah.
Go back through the
watch all of us.
the whole archive of Doug Space 9 exists on YouTube, and this is something we need to talk about because we started the show on YouTube, like streaming it there, and then now we're like streaming it on Twitch and uploading the archive to YouTube. I'm wondering if I should like make that private and like a Patreon reward.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I was thinking about that because like no one really watches it, you know.
So let's start charging for it.
Exactly. It got like 28 views. So like if anyone wants it, they can support us on Patreon and find it. But otherwise, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't understand the streaming model, but I really like taking content that no one wants and then locking it up
for it. Yeah. Yeah, because like if anyone wants it, you know,
might make people
want it to be there.
Maybe this is worth something.
Exactly.
And then they've already paid for it, so they're like, you're more inclined to be like, no, I have to like this.
Yeah, totally. Well, and it's
what
great
am I, a
stuff.
sucker?
Like, it's great stuff that I think someone would really enjoy. Yeah. I just think that like people like I don't know. If you're not there live, I feel like it's not as exciting.
Yeah, I agree. I will always make fun of everything I'm involved in. But oh wait, time to vamp.
I'm just gonna turn the heater off because I am warm. Open up this door and get some freezing cold air in here. Okay.
And we're back.
So, nice vamp. That was good. You're getting better at that.
I'm really locking onto my brand.
Before we start talking about Duet in earnest. This is from Duet. Yeah, vamping is staring in the camera. So, hold on. We're gonna beam onto the station from our shuttlecraft. There we go. I would like to start something today. New segment. Best alien of the season.
Background aliens.
Best background alien of the season. And I would like to nominate this fellow
right
Space
here. Batman. I have a screenshot of this.
You do?
Yeah. Right there. Boom. Space Batman.
Look at that guy. He's so cool.
Excuse me.
He's so fucking cool.
Yeah, and I like the little like walk that he does.
Wait, let's go back. Give me another. This
to me is like someone who won a contest.
Give it to me. Let me see him.
Boom!
Boom!
Look, see you later.
I'd like to nominate him for best alien of the season. What I was thinking we could do, like on our screen down here, we could like take the best alien of the season and put them like among the people watching us. And so like by the time we get to season 7, it'll just look like nonsense.
Oh, but see, we'll have to go back to get some because the dudes with the curtains over their faces.
Yeah.
That was one that I really liked where they did the item that they brought in for the auction. Remember that?
Item they brought in for the auction.
And it was like
in the Vosh episode?
Yeah.
Well, let's go look.
No, I'm just saying for when we start to fill this in, I'm gonna want to go back.
But the thing is that we're at the season finale of season 1.
Oh, I see. I meant I'd bring them in next time, but yeah, if you're gonna jump in,
I feel like Space Batman has to win. Wait, where's the other episodes? Come on.
Right, and it's gonna be
Q-less. Miles, you're sitting on my headphone cord. I need this. I hooked up some headphones for you.
Oh
Miles,
yeah,
please.
Thank you.
Now we're just watching Q-less.
Can't let it run too long. We'll get sued.
Looking around, hoping to spot a friendly face, only to discover my colleagues
Okay.
who are gone.
It's when they're wall walking in.
I admit, for
or when they're doing the auction.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first item
There
is
we go.
a statue
Boom.
from
Oh.
the Gamma Quadrants for Wrath.
Okay.
Look at that.
You wanna nominate these?
Well, first of all, the Birdman who shows up.
The bird person is great.
Yeah, and they show up in a few different episodes
Yeah.
in season 1 in the background.
Yeah, but dude,
Because that person lives.
but Space Batman.
I'm just saying, I'm not. Every time we do the end of an episode, do we nominate who we know is going to win for best character or best actor?
We do.
Solo? No. We put in a bunch of people around
Okay,
them.
fine. We're gonna vote on this, people. We're gonna vote on this. So your options are best alien, Space Batman,
Space Batman.
Bird person,
Bird person, curtain heads.
curtain heads. Do we have any other nominations?
Well, we can let this sit, right? Like if we think of more.
Okay, yeah, we'll let it sit. I just really, if it's not Space Batman, I quit. That's all I'm saying.
Does that skeleton hanging over the promenade count?
Oh, we saw it again. We saw it again in Duet.
Yeah.
And no, it doesn't. Okay, let's get back to Duet here.
Yeah.
So let's jump into the episode, and we'll continue to talk about this as we go.
I think I even wrote down the time code for Space Batman.
Oh, nice. It was the only thing I cared about making sure we looked at. There he is! Space Batman! It says Space Batman.
Yeah, so I would...
Batman.
Batman.
It's not Batman.
Not
It's
Batman.
Space Batman.
I'm Batman.
Oh my god.
Batman?
Batmanuel.
Oh,
Can-
they
can we-
renewed that for season 2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Although I only watched the pilot, The Tick.
I love it.
I
But I loved the...
love the old show.
Yeah. Old show, old cartoon, old comics. I've been a big fan of Tick from a long time ago.
Yeah,
So
Tick is great.
100% on board.
For me, it was a little hard to not have Patrick Warburton.
Yeah, but I feel like they do such interesting things. Tick has always been a reflection of comic books at the time.
Okay.
So it's always sort of making fun of what's going on with comics. So
Yeah.
When it was the cartoon, it's making fun of comic cartoons, you know? When it was the comic book, it was making fun of like those...
Okay,
late
so now it's making fun of Marvel movies.
Well, yeah, and I think to a degree like Netflix and Arrowverse.
Okay.
So it's basically like a gritty, it's a dark
It's a
reboot
gritty reboot of The Tick.
of the Tick.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'd have to give it another shot.
Yeah, and it's not.
Oh my god,
It
though.
gets
I've been
so much
watching,
funnier.
I got caught up on The Expanse.
Oh yeah, I'm still only at
That's-
season 1 because I'm.
Oh, dude.
I know.
It is. Okay, I watched season 1 a couple times and like put off watching season 2.
Right.
And then I watched season 2 and I was like, that was mind blowing.
Yeah.
And I watched season 3 and I was like, sploosh.
Yeah.
Season 3 is like, it brings in some like 2001 and some Contact
Right.
inspiration.
Because there's so much source material.
It's so good. Season 3 of The Expanse was like a sci-fi wet dream
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
Like it doesn't get better.
Yeah.
It's so good.
'Cause it's
and I can't believe it's coming back for season 4.
Oh, who picked it up?
Amazon did. It's Jeff Bezos' favorite show, so he picked it up.
Well done.
It's like now, isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that is pretty good.
That makes me like not as mad about Amazon
Right.
taking over.
I mean,
the
they're
world.
still terrible. I almost posted something about that recently about some. I didn't want to make. I wanted to make the joke, but I was a little worried how it would go over. Just the idea of like, yeah, I understand that Amazon is, horrible to employees and ruining the planet, but take season 2.
Yeah, they've made some great TV. Transparent is a really good show.
Yeah.
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is a really good show. There's like a bunch of things.
Man in
on
the
it.
High Castle.
That one I couldn't get into either.
Yeah.
I read the book years ago. I watched like 3 or 4 episodes and it was just a little too slow for me.
I mean, it's never easy or I think even smart to translate a Philip K.
Philip K. Dick, totally. Yeah.
Translate it literally, you know what I mean? It's best to take like the themes of it because the dude's
Yeah.
got a lot of great stuff.
I mean, I've read probably like 10 Philip K. Dick books.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a single adaptation. Maybe the first Total Recall.
Right.
That movie's bonkers and awesome.
Yeah, but it's nothing like the book.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with it.
Right. But it's still
Yeah.
great. It takes all of the
Like,
great themes.
Quado is my favorite character.
Yeah.
Like that's the craziest left turn a movie's ever made.
Yeah.
And it works so well.
Tremors. Tremors is a pretty good take on a Philip K. Dick story.
Was that Philip K. Dick?
That's Philip K. Dick.
That was
yeah.
a good movie. Okay, yeah. They're
Obviously
out there.
Blade Runner.
Right. And you know what?
Paycheck's not bad.
I haven't seen that.
It's goofy. I mean,
Dan DeRozier and I did a podcast about Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Where we well, no, we did one about the book, Do Androids Dream
Oh, sure.
of Electric Sheep. So
Because I know he's super
reread
into that.
and then I did a podcast about Blade Runner with Baby Dan like a year later. So I I reread that and then watched the movie a couple times.
I had it fresh in your mind.
And they do have some similarities.
Yes.
Like I used to think that they were nothing alike, but there is something there. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. They take a lot of the pieces of it.
Did you like Blade Runner 24? We will talk about Deep Space Nine eventually. Did you like Blade Runner 2049?
It's pretty, it's visually stunning. Yeah, I don't know. I had mixed feelings about it. I feel like they could have done a lot more with it. I think there's some real serious, weak, hokey parts. So it wasn't what I was worried it was going to be. I was worried it was going to be like a tonal shift disaster. In the way, there's one franchise I think that's done it well, which is 2001 to 2010, or actually Alien to Aliens. Those are movies whose sequels switch over to becoming just generic blockbuster.
I'm so
Hollywood
glad you
movies.
said 2010. That movie is awesome.
I love them, and I think Aliens is a great sequel, but they are both
you're right.
total
They're totally different movies.
I was afraid that the sequel to Blade Runner was going to be a failed version of that tonal shift.
And
instead,
it was the
didn't
same
shift the
fucking
tone at all.
Yeah, totally.
Which in some ways was like, well, maybe there could have been some things they could have. I don't know. It's interesting.
I really liked it.
Feelings.
I really liked it, but when it was over, I felt like I didn't need to have seen it.
That's the other thing.
It didn't add anything.
Right. It doesn't need to exist.
But I love the relationship between the main character and his robot girlfriend.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool, and that. I don't know, that scene of them making love with that third person and she's a hologram. Right. That was crazy cool.
Yeah,
really well
there's some
done.
Interesting set pieces for sure.
It's worth watching, and
visually it's beautiful.
It felt like Solo, a Star Wars story. I'll watch it and I'll enjoy it, but was this the best use of our money in our franchise? Probably not.
But with also being totally different styles and tones.
Yeah.
Idea. Yeah, I like Solo, but it's definitely that's a great airplane movie.
Totally. I just rewatched that 2 weeks ago and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it feels
it
feels like a TV movie, not like a
TV movie.
It's not like a big budget thing.
Yeah.
Where if it came out, if you're like, oh, I heard Sci-Fi Channel's doing a 3-part Solo Star Wars.
That's what they made exactly.
I'd be like, great, you guys did.
It'd be very impressive.
Oh, honey, you tried so hard.
Yeah, totally. Sci-Fi Channel, good job.
I'm gonna put this up on the fridge.
It's like you made Rogue One.
Right.
Rogue One is
money, and it's your.
Besides Gollum Tarkin, Rogue One was awesome. Okay. Justin says, I still don't know what's happening in that Electric Sheep episode with Steve Buscemi. I watched the first 2 episodes of Electric Sheep, and then I bailed out. It was too on the nose. It felt like a little preachy.
I haven't watched any. I started the Harlan Ellison one.
What's that?
Something Dreams, something.
Oh, Electric Sheep, not Electric Sheep, Electric Dreams. It's Electric Dreams.
Or Nightmares?
Nightmares.
Something, I don't know. There's one on Hulu. The first episode is someone who is apparently living disjointed in time. They're, it's they're a lesbian cop in one thing, and then...
That's the show, yeah.
Okay,
it's Phil K. Dick, isn't it?
Oh, is it Phil K. Dick?
I think it's Electric Dreams, and it's based off of Phil K. Dick stuff.
Oh, I thought it was the Harlan Ellison one. I'm super confused then.
I'm so confused also. But that episode I saw with the guy from Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
But then I watched the second one, and they both had this preachy quality that kind of turned me off.
Yeah.
Because I love. I think that
that's what Twilight Zone does.
These 2 episodes of Deep Space Nine we're talking about today are the pinnacle.
Preachy Star Trek?
Pinnacle preachy sci-fi, because it doesn't take sides.
Right.
It tries as hard as it can to not take sides. It tries so hard to say that there are good and bad things on both sides.
Well, I mean, it does say bombing schools is bad.
Sure. Yeah. But
genocide is bad.
Right. But it doesn't say that religion is bad.
So this is
when we get to In the Hands of the Prophets.
Well, yes, absolutely. Yeah, this one, that's the one where it really makes that line, which is not a line that had existed or was clearly defined in Star Trek before that, where the further back you go, the more atheistic hardline atheistic Star
Right.
Trek comes across.
Totally.
Where
Yeah.
I had said this
Like
before.
almost anti-religion.
Yeah, I had said before that if Deep Space Nine was a one episode in like season 1 or 2 of TNG, somebody definitely would have been like, these fools, they believe the wormhole aliens are real. What a bunch of jerks.
Right. Yeah. Picard would have said like, you know, we on Earth we used to have we used to have ancient philosophies, religious philosophies that we've grown out of.
Right.
You know, he'd say something like that.
We also used
Roach.
to believe in space magic bullshit.
What's up, Roach? New Picard series thoughts? Can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I'm doubly excited now that Discovery Season 2 has gotten good because they've now proved to us that they can make good Star Trek.
We're entering into a new boom period of like what 90s Trek was, where you've got like concurrent series that you love.
Right,
you know.
and the Section 31 show, can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, and I know that
And the
people are
animated cartoon.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Alpha Ceti 4, Alpha Ceti 5,
SETI Alpha 5?
Ceti Alpha 5, yeah.
Is that what it's called?
There's supposed to be this is all just, I don't know how far
Oh, the
along.
Con miniseries on SETI Alpha 5.
Yeah.
I wrote that song. Like, I wrote a song called SETI Alpha 5, and it's like Khan on the planet waiting for Kirk to come back.
Yeah, that's supposed to be...
That's going to be a show.
Yeah.
Or a miniseries or something.
Right, and I don't know if they're calling it that, if they're calling it Botany Bay or something, but that's...
Yeah. Botany Bay. Botany Bay. Oh,
That
no.
happened in an episode I was not in.
Exactly, that's so true.
I remember hearing about that in high school.
Chekhov. I remember you. Even though you weren't on the ship yet.
I followed Kirk on Facebook for a number of years. Ugh.
What would the Starfleet Facebook be called?
Space Fleet book? Nope.
Spacebook.
I got nothing. Space book? That's good, yeah. That was sitting right there.
Amanda's like, they swayed back to DS9. Spacebook. It's Spacebook.
It's Space book, yeah.
Okay, Duet.
Duet.
Here we go. I have to. Can we just start at the very beginning? I don't remember. Like, I remember they had a weird discussion, like girl talk in the beginning, and I want to see it again because I remember thinking. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
I got you headphones if you want.
Oh, yeah.
We never cared what we did, as long as it annoyed the grown-ups.
All inner deflector shield subsystems are showing equal intensity.
Power balance levels are reading normal.
Can you do closed captions?
Window breaker.
Yeah.
Dark night with a few rocks. That was deadly.
Which you were you talking about?
Oh yeah, this. Okay. Something about that, like, she's like, which you are you talking about? And
Right.
she's like, oh, we're old friends. You knew I had old bodies. I'm just like, it's like weird sitcom writing.
Absolutely. It's this is classic though in Star Trek in general. Voyager really hits it hard, but I feel like there's a shift. If you watch TOS, at a certain point you're like, oh, this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna do this kind of thing, you know. I've said it before. In season 1 of TNG, they go from conspiracy to unfreezing humans from like the 22nd century, including like Twango guitar player.
Right.
It's like you get fucking whiplash from the change of tone.
Yes.
Because that is all just like sitcom-y hokiness of the jokes. But so yeah, when they do things like this, it is so weird. I feel like it sticks out in a different way, but the similar feeling as when JMS in Babylon 5 is like, I thought of a clever joke.
Jesus.
It's just like, oh my god, dude, someone polish the edges off of this thing. Like,
stop giving comedy to Michael Garibaldi because it's not
you
working.
can't do it. And DS9, they do it in a way, it's not the same as his, but it really like stands out.
Yeah.
In some episodes, it can be seamless and beautiful, but like Quark and Odo will have some of those too. There's one in the next one with better bring some Dabo girls. They're the religious things.
Well, we need
better bring
more Dabo girls.
It's just like,
totally.
oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting that like when they, on this show in particular, when they try to write like casual banter, it comes off like very forced.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that way about Next Generation, particularly like season 3 through 7.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe because Patrick Stewart's such a good actor and pulls it off all the time.
They do try to keep a level of gravitas, but there is a lot of B-story stuff that I think delves into that kind of hokey-dom.
Which reminds me that, according to Memory Alpha, this is the only episode of the season that doesn't have a B story.
Yeah, I
really
hadn't thought about that watching it. But
yeah, me neither. It doesn't need one.
It doesn't need one. And I feel like it would be too distracting from the plot.
Yeah. Okay, so we get introduced to some stuff here. I'm just gonna mute this and just have this on in the background. There's this freighter that has a person on board who has Kalanoro Syndrome.
Right.
Which is a syndrome that the only way in the universe you have it is if you were at this concentration camp on Bajor called Galatep, where the Cardassians were committing atrocities against the Bajorans. Right. It was like a forced labor camp. Yeah, for all intents and purposes, it is a concentration camp.
Right. No one's heard of the disease except for Kira, so she knows. Yeah, as she's saying here, she knows the only reason to have that is the situation. So she's assuming it's a Bajoran.
She's assuming that it's like a Bajoran hero, and she wants to go meet him. And then it ends up being this guy. Whoa! Whoa! Okay, so it ends up being a Cardassian, which instantly means that it is...
He's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy because he was at Galatep. Right. Like, he was committing atrocities against Bajorans.
It provides immediate proof of his complicity in war crimes.
Yeah, and let's just go ahead and spoil this episode. I mean, people hopefully have seen it, but he claims to be Eamon Maritza, a file clerk.
Right.
He says that he doesn't have this syndrome.
Right.
Well, first he says that he wasn't there at all.
Right.
And that he doesn't have this syndrome.
He keeps denying things that they keep finding more and more proof of.
So they prove that he does have the syndrome, and he's like, well, fine, then I was a file clerk at Galatep, you know, and my name is Eamon Maritza.
Because they can tell that's what the job, and he says, that's my job, I'm a file clerk, you know.
Right. So then they look up a picture of Eamon Maritza, and it's not him. He looks just like Goldar Heel, who is like the butcher of Galatep.
Right.
The
Eichmann.
The Eichmann, like the absolute worst person there. So then it's like, oh my god, we're holding like the butcher of Galatep, and then like Cardassians get involved. We see Gul Dukat. He wants to, you know, he wants this person like sent back to Cardassia.
Well, because Gul Dukat is, which is interesting. He is really just saying like, let this guy go.
Right. I mean, not back to Cardassia. Just let him go. Yeah, let him go. You have no reason to hold him.
Listen, I would understand it if we were holding somebody against their will with zero proof of anything. Right. But you're the Federation, for fuck's sake.
Right, totally.
Why do I have to remind you that you're the Federation?
Right. And it's so interesting that they hold him basically because Kira asks Cisco to.
Yes.
And there's a great scene up here where...
but he's only going to hold him for so long.
There's this great scene where like it needs to be investigated, and Cisco wants to have Odo. Someone else involved, have Odo do it, or But then there's this great scene where Kira sits down with him and says like, a Bajoran needs to do this.
Yeah.
Here, let me pop this on.
Then he'll be yours, and you're welcome to him. Until then, he's just a traveler under suspicion.
Right, she's starting to feel like this is all...
You think this is all some personal vendetta on my part, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, this talks a lot about the trust between these two characters.
Right, she's worried that, like, the Federation is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, and she's like, you are too close to be objective.
And I give you my word, I will conduct myself accordingly.
Which is funny, because she totally does not.
I think she does a good job.
Well, not really.
I'm asking you now, as a friend, please, let me conduct this investigation. I owe it to them.
Yeah, so Cisco lets her take the investigation, which I thought was a really interesting choice because again, so similar to that Discovery episode where Saru like is ordered off the bridge by Pike. Like that's basically what's happening here. Is like Cisco saying, "You're too close to this. Let us handle it."
Yeah.
But then she convinces him that like, I mean, I'm Jewish, so I feel this episode.
Sure.
You know, like basically what's happening is like, this is an allegory of the Holocaust.
Right.
And she's basically Jewish and saying, you know, this is a Holocaust war criminal. Let me run the investigation.
Right.
A Jewish person needs to do it.
Yes.
Because this damage was done to us.
Right.
You know.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a really tough choice for Cisco to make.
I think he makes the right choice.
Do you think so?
Yeah. So my feeling is I think Cisco makes the right choice, and I think Kira still does the investigation in a way that shows she's too close to it. And without Odo's eventual intervention later on, she would have allowed Maritza to go through with his plan. Maritza, so that's the spoiler for this is that what it turns out is Kira starts the investigation, then Odo gets involved, and then they find out everyone gets involved. He is not. Yeah, he's first. They think he's Maritza. Then he thinks he's Goldar Heel.
Goldar Heel.
He admits to being Goldar Heel.
And then he like opens up with the crazy.
Right. Then he's just like, "You're right. I'm a mass murderer.
I'm gonna cleanse the Bajoran people."
Full-on Cardassian racist.
It's terrifying.
And then they find out that he's lying still, that he's not Goldar Heel, that his original statement that he is Maritza was true, and that he did all of this because he's actually a sympathetic character who wants Goldar Heel, who has just died a hero. He wants him to be not a dead hero. He wants him to be put on trial for war crimes.
He wants to act the part of Goldar Heel on trial for war crimes and say the things that he's saying to Kira.
Right.
Let me pull that scene up. I'm just like randomly scrolling through. I think this is it right here.
I hope you'll not think it immodest of me to say so, but I was a magnificent leader. Oh, you never saw Galantep at its height. For a labor camp, it was the very model of order and efficiency. And why? For that, you have to look to the top, to me. My word, my every glance.
And this is
so wrong. And the verdict was always the same, guilty.
You're insane.
Oh,
yeah.
No, Major. You can't dismiss me that easily. I did what had to be done. My men understood that, and that's why they love me. I would order them to go out and kill Bajoran scum. And they do it. They murder them. And they come back covered in blood. But they felt clean. Now,
and this is so interesting because
it's like chilling, but it's so well done.
And it's so interesting to watch a second time after watching it once without knowing the reveal.
Yeah.
Because then he does come across as like, oh, this dude is a fucking crazy person.
Yeah.
But on a second watch, there's a level
desperate.
here because he's pretending. He's basically, here's somebody who's trying to embody this person who he perceives as being evil.
Right.
So he's coming across as cartoonishly evil.
And he's desperate to be hated so that he can succeed in his plan.
Yeah.
Because he feels so guilty for doing nothing when he heard all these screams of the Bajorans.
Right.
That he wants to repent in some way.
Like, I bet
this plot is so convoluted.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's so many twists and turns. None of them feel forced.
Right.
None of it feels like, oh, we're just trying to surprise you.
Right.
It all feels
a twist for no reason.
Yeah, no twist for no reason. It makes sense.
It's
it like
natural
holds together.
Yeah.
And it just works for me on almost every level.
And also it fits in with Cardassians being shown as manipulators and connivers. You know, this is if this was a human doing this, it might strain my belief of motivations. But because they've shown Cardassians to be these like schemers and elaborate planners and plotters, it seems like, okay, I could see a Cardassian coming up with this like intricate plan to pull this off.
Yeah, so this guy, this clerk, Eamon Maritza, actually has face-changing surgery done to look like Goldar Heel. And that's how they figure this out, is because he was taking some medication to
make his face softer.
Yeah.
He's taking some special face surgery cream.
Yeah, exactly. Like something you have to take if you've had cosmetic surgery.
Thankfully, there are no HIPAA laws in this part of the Alpha Quadrant.
And I will tell you, like, when that's revealed, there's this moment where I'm like, is this dumb? You know?
Oh, right. Is this a... Well, they have to have something... Because that's... So this is interesting. The story was by someone, but the episode teleplay is by a lawyer who's written for Star Trek before, who's written other things for Star Trek.
Let's see.
And when you look at the other things, the Peter Allen Fields.
Oh, Peter Allen Fields.
Right.
Okay.
When you look at the other things...
And the story is by two other people.
Right. When you look at the other things that Peter Allen Fields has written, a lot of them have, like, trial... I think the one where they had the Arbiter, the old lady Arbiter, might have been... No, that was DC Fontana, I think. Maybe he did the teleplay?
Well, let's click on him. Oh, he wrote... Oh, executive script consultant.
Right.
Let's see, what did he write? Star Trek credits.
Oh, yeah, here they'll do them down here.
TNG. Oh, I don't want to see the article on Star Trek Next Generation. I want to see... There we go, okay.
Yeah.
Hey!
Oh, wait. Show all.
Oh, okay. Half a Life... Cost of Living, and he wrote The Inner Light?
Oh, right, and then see there, Dax.
He wrote Dax.
Yeah. So that's one is...
Progress.
So my point being is that this guy, as a lawyer who has a background in law...
that was like a trial episode.
Right, and this sort of like layered structure feels... It's like reverse engineering, ideal law.
Yeah.
Where it's like... Or an ideal investigation, where it's It's these intricate steps interlocking, and everything sort of leads to a logical, natural next step.
Totally. And yeah, this is like the big problem for me in Discovery Season 1. Very similar plot elements. Like you have this double agent guy who's like had cosmetic surgery to look like from one race to another, but it's all done in such like a ham-fisted way that it like none of it feels like it naturally progresses. Right. And by the time you get the reveal, it's like I don't even fucking care anymore.
Yeah, I think they had a great idea, and I applaud them for that. Was a swing and a miss to me, where I feel like that was a big, bold thing to do, and to play like a metagame level of the show.
I thought it was such bullshit. Like
No, but I like it because it's taking a big risk. It's trying to be bold. It's trying to.
Yeah, for me it was like sensationalist writing.
Well,
like,
see, that's the implementation of it. I feel like they dropped the ball on.
I think that J.J. Abrams, like in Lost, created like pop sensation in a way that was like so compelling.
Right.
And then that show itself tried to then perpetuate that, and it starts to fall flat and becomes shallow and hollow.
Yeah.
And Discovery started there, like started like shallow and hollow, and then like is now being filled in with depth. Yeah. It's amazing to me that the guy who wrote this episode, Duet, also wrote The Inner Light. That's the one where Picard lives like a lifetime.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, a huge standout episode of that show.
But two of the more, I think, emotional episodes, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They did an episode on Voyager after this one to try to recapture the feeling of this.
Yeah.
Like a very similar plot line. And it didn't, and it kind of fell flat for me, which is why I was so excited in that Discovery episode with Saru, which was again a kind of a similar plot,
right?
And so emotional.
Yeah.
Like I love when Star Trek makes me feel things.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Yeah,
I'm all about it.
Yeah.
And this episode, like, really does it for me. There's like a little bit of wonkiness, just like the tiniest hair of wonkiness in this, and I think that stems from the amount of switches that he does.
Yes.
It's almost too much.
It is. Well, yeah, and that's into my point of, like, it helps me swallow it that he is a Cardassian who, stereotypically, they've made out to be schemers and plotters and elaborate planners. But yeah, he has created a perfectly crafted machine that has no margin for error.
Yeah.
And everything does work perfectly for him.
Right.
But,
you mean the writer?
No. I'm saying in the show itself.
Oh, sure.
So
I mean, the same could be said about the writer, though. Right. Like as a script, like it is a pretty well-oiled machine that like really zippers together well.
And it's required to, and that's his whole plan. Is this where he comes in with like this elaborate 3-tiered lie that he wants them to pull back,
right?
Because it's the opposite of building trust with somebody. He's specifically building distrust so that they will then go ahead and execute him. Basically, they'll have convinced themselves they've discovered the truth. It's brilliant on a meta level. And you think about Maritza, the guy, the
clerk,
file clerk.
Yeah,
thinking about somebody who could come up with this kind of a plan. You know,
someone whose filing system was like
someone
absolutely
who
brilliant.
Must be so fucking next level genius that they do let him teach filing at a military academy.
Sure, but a complete coward.
But coward, yeah.
But it's interesting that like the amount of bravery this takes.
Yeah.
To do, but it's a different type of bravery.
It's like a shoot the moon bravery. Like if I'm going out.
It's a beautiful fucking story.
Yeah.
And there's part of me that's like held back because I find it a little. You kind of have to take the leap that, like, oh man, this is, what do I want to say? I think that Star Trek assumes evilness sometimes.
Sure,
it assumes that, like,
broad strokes, good and evil, as being like objective things that live in the world.
Yes. And there's a moment in this episode where he talks about, as Goldar heel, he's like, what you call atrocities, I call a day's work.
Right.
And he talks about, like, what atrocities? I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
And there was something, like, so fascinating about that moment where, like, this horrible thing that these Bajoran people lived through, to the guy on the other side was like, I was doing a good job.
Yeah.
You know, this was my job. This is what I'm supposed to do. And there's a part of me that finds that conflict inherently, like, so fascinating.
Yeah.
And I wanted that conflict to be explored because, like, Star Trek does kind of fall down sometimes. Like, this is right and this is wrong, and almost always I agree.
Yeah.
And I like when Star Trek kind of takes those lines. They do it in the very next episode.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And in this episode also, like, they basically say, like, these atrocities are so awful that even someone inside the Cardassians' own government is willing to, like, to give up his own life to make a point.
Yeah.
So yeah, this episode is doing that, but like at the same time, there was this other thing that they were kind of developing that and here's where my only real issue is. They kind of unravel that by this not actually being Goldar heel.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That was a very long-winded explanation.
Yeah. So
Does that make sense?
It does, and I think the reasoning behind it, and I don't know if it's intentional in the writing or if it came out in the performance, but I feel like when he's first revealed to be Goldar heel, there's this in-universe, it's Maritza pretending to be Goldar heel the way Goldar heel himself portrayed himself in real life.
Right, because he knew the man.
Right, so because he knew the man.
Yeah.
So he's portraying himself as like, what atrocities? And he's like, nothing, everything's fine. And then intentionally, or maybe Maritza starts to just fall into it too much, he starts to portray the fictional version of Goldar heel as an exaggerated version the way Maritza viewed him. As like being explicit about like, and then we bathed in their blood and we murdered their children.
Right.
Where I would imagine that in universe, the real Goldar heel is probably more like a Gul Dukat.
Sure.
And probably just like a coldly cruel person who is like, you know,
I think
super
that's
casual
right.
about exterminating Bajorans. And that attitude is part of what Maritza himself is horrified by.
Yeah.
Like he has to turn Goldar heel into this cartoon villain.
Right. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
And we do get the other. So I guess like
there's a lot of these. If on the rewatch, the actor playing Maritza Goldar heel, and I feel like they do it intentionally. He has these encounters, then Kira leaves, and they linger on him enough times.
Thinking something.
He's now doing Maritza, contemplating how his plan is going.
Yeah.
Later on, there's one where you can tell it's falling apart.
Yeah.
And he's trying to distract Kira and keep her on board, and then he starts to get more and more like he's super cocky in the first few of these, and then it changes a little bit more. Like even now, it's sort of like okay, I think I got this fish on the line. You know, it's really interesting.
You can see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
And you don't know what it means the first time.
You don't know,
and you just don't trust him. You're like, he's evil. I don't trust him, and that's enough. Like it works on that level.
Yeah.
The episode does. I think it's such a hard thing to do to like truly like surprise a viewer with a plot twist and have it be like teleological, which is one of my favorite words. It's from music school. It means like something that develops out of itself.
Right.
And this episode just nails it.
Yeah.
Like it just works on every level. Yeah. I guess like the only thing that to go back to the only thing that I have that slightly sticks with me is that this episld does not have a Cardassian speaking for Cardassian interests, and it's like besides Gul Dukat,
right?
And,
which I really love. I love Gul Dukat in this one.
I love him. I always love Gul Dukat
because Gul Dukat is doing what he does all the time, every episode, which is like super denying what you're saying. Like you're wrong. You have to trust me. And 9 times out of 10, he's lying through his spoon head.
Yeah.
And he is not to be trusted. This time he's like, it's exactly what I've been telling you.
Right.
You have the man named Maritza.
Right. He's right this time.
He's 100% right.
And he is the character who we get to hear from throughout the whole show as far as like representing the Cardassian point of view.
Right.
Because this episode is just like this perfect debate between 2 points of view.
Yeah.
At its core. And it ends up being that one of those points of view was fake.
Yes.
So you don't have that debate in the end.
Yeah, and then they wind up taking it out entirely where they have the mirror image of him, which is the drunk dude, the Bajoran, who is like, I'm going to murder all Bajoran, all Cardassians.
Right.
You know,
right.
He's not the head of a labor camp, but I think there's a...
Why'd you kill him? He's Cardassian.
He's Cardassian. That's enough.
And then Kira has that moment where she's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And you see her realize that it's not.
Yeah.
Because she didn't even know that until that moment. Like, This episode is massive for Kira. It totally changes her character.
Because I think the Maritza as Goldar heel is intentionally doing that. Like, how many Cardassians did you kill? You know, he's trying to keep her from looking too closely into this.
Yeah,
and that he always wants, and that's what this is. What I'm going back further. I agree, Cisco did the right thing by putting Kira in charge of the investigation, but I feel like it wound up being a mistake because Kira fell right into his trap was getting on board with it and was 100%. She just wanted to prove. She didn't want to find out the truth. She wanted to prove this was Goldar heel so that he could be sent to Bajor for trial and execution. So she was coming into it with an agenda.
But the fact that she was open-minded enough to take in new information and change her mind is a well. If you look at like the Republican Party in our country, you know, or even the Democrats, honestly, like. They stick to an ideology,
right?
And if you present them with new information,
right,
that doesn't fit in with their ideology, they reject it.
Right. Kira went in with a pre-assumed
which is bad. It's awful. It's bad. It's horrible.
Right.
And Kira doesn't do that. She's such a great example in this episode.
But she needed someone else to point out to her, like, don't you see this inconsistency? Which was Odo saying,
yeah, that's his job. He's like,
right. But Odo's like, hey, this doesn't smell right.
He is actually Batman. He's more so than Space Batman.
He could be if he wanted to at any time. Think about that. Odo could just turn into a giant, like, bat.
With just a really smooth chin.
I'm Batman. You're under arrest.
He's got the voice, dude. Rene Aubergenois as Batman, right?
Yeah.
He's a little old now, but as as like Frank Miller, Dark Knight Batman, you know? Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah,
Dark Knight
he's already doing investigations.
I'm into that.
But he's the one who's like, hey, he shouldn't know about your like terrorist job beforehand, and she's like, nope, it's fine. Like, but Odo has to like nudge her into realizing this because she again would have gone past that. It is my point.
I actually would have gone past that. I guess that's why it doesn't bother me. Is because like,
right,
I'm like, wow, you picked that up, Odo. That's intense.
Right. But I think an argument could be made that some of it comes from her being blind to it, where she is already convinced of facts and she's just looking.
You're right. Like in a courtroom trial, if like something went wrong here and they were arbitrating this, like the fact that Kira was in charge of this investigation would have been a problem.
Right.
I am with you.
And she sticks with it. She holds on to it for so long. They start finding more evidence. Like, we found Goldar. Here's death certificate. I'll bet that's fake. Like, she's super biased.
That's the thing that I'm talking about, where like you get new information and you find a way to not take it in.
She does that for as long as possible.
But in the course of like a day, she changes her mind.
Oh yeah,
you know. For me, I'm like, wow, that's character growth. Like for this character who's like stuck in her mindset for the whole season, she shows so much growth.
And I think it's good. I'm saying this about her, but I think it's a good thing for the story, because if she switched over too soon, I would be upset at the lazy story writing.
Right, I agree.
I'm pointing out what I feel to be an intentional flaw put into her character to make for an interesting story.
And I agree with you for sure. And I feel like it might have been the wrong choice to put her in charge of the investigation. Like coming back to that scene with Cisco and Kira that we watched. Like my first thought watching that was like, I appreciate what you're doing, Cisco, but Picard would not have made this choice. Like, and I don't know if this is the right choice.
I don't know. It's a very Cisco choice though.
It is, and he's I like that. I like the two styles. I think that's how I would want to lead. Is like I gotta trust the people around me.
Right.
You know, I work with these people. They're doing a great job. I need to take some of the responsibility off of myself and let them take it if they are coming to me and asking for it.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta trust her, and she promises to him like, I will not fuck this up.
There's also a funny thing to me, which is she's talking with Cisco about being put in charge of the investigation.
Yeah.
And then in the next scene, she says something like, "This interrogation is going to be over before it started." Like, as soon as she leaves Cisco, she's in charge of the interrogation,
not the investigation.
Not the investigation. Right.
Yeah. There's something that we have to watch.
Okay.
I'm gonna back this up. Put the sound back on. This to me is like the moment of the episode. I think this is it.
Oh, man, it makes a good point too.
Oh yeah, we have to check out Amanda's. We will in just a second.
Okay.
Take the same medication as me.
Nope, this is not it. It's over here.
Then give it to him in his cell.
I haven't done anything.
I passed it.
You run.
Oh, when he books it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a funny run too.
It's here we go. Here we go.
The patient is a criminal.
And go! That's so good.
Am I gonna have a stunt double for this? No, it's really just running.
A criminal.
It's so good. Oh, Amanda, thank you so much for the 6 bits.
Oh, I love bits.
That run is brilliant, and it is laughable.
Yeah.
And it's like,
again, it's
what is the character thinking in that moment?
It's a file clerk who knows that he has to give them more reason to not trust him.
Yeah.
I feel like a proper reading of Armin Maritza is a master obsessive compulsive, detail oriented, like someone who writes out agendas that include minutes.
Yeah.
Like at 8:07 p.m. I do the following. Like, he is down to the wire on this, and part of his plan was going to have to be some form of trying to escape, so that they're like, "Why are you?"
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. To me, it felt like just a poor acting choice.
But he's also not good at running.
Yeah, I tried to mute it and I failed.
So in the real world, this actor said, "Do I get a stunt double for the scene?" And they're like, "No, it's just
running outside."
All right.
Yeah. It's so funny. I really love it. Okay, I want to check in with what Amanda said here.
Yeah. About people changing.
Great character growth for her and great acting across the board, absolutely. In my real-world experience, people won't truly change their opinions about most ideals and beliefs unless they encounter a super personal situation that forces it.
Yeah, it's not something that, like, evidence usually sways people. You know,
right.
The quote that I always like is, people can't be reasoned or logicked out of a position they did not reason or logic their way into.
Yeah,
you know?
That's so true.
That's why, like, any debates you see with people that have to do with, like, religious-based moral choices or their philosophies or how they think things should be run in society, all those things that come from their faith in their religion usually means that you can't just say, well, logically, this is why you're wrong. Like, they're not going to agree with that. And Amanda's 100% correct. That they do the people will send canvassers out to tell personal stories to people in an effort to try and have a better chance of changing somebody's opinions politically. They've done studies about this, of like, what happens if you send people out with just information? What if you send people out that just, tell them their personal stories kind of thing? And that is, it's the personal, either experiencing it or even hearing someone else's real personal experience conveyed to
next
you.
to someone as they tell you something.
Yeah. It's
more like those people on the sidewalk. I always ignore them.
Yeah.
But it's harder to ignore them than it is to ignore a letter in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's why I think that storytelling in like mass media like this can be effective, because if the people watching it have enough empathy and sympathy for the characters, even though they're fictional, but if they have enough to make them feel like a real thing.
I totally agree with you. That's why I love Star Trek so much.
Oh.
Andy's calling.
So I'll vamp while Andy calls.
No. She's gonna... Hi, you're on speaker.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, Andy and I watched this episode together, and she's actually gonna call in to give her opinions. Andy, what did you think about Duet?
What did I think about Duet? Which one was Duet?
The one we watched, the one with Kira and the Cardassian prisoner, who ended up being not who he said he was, or ended up actually being who he said he was, even though he didn't look like who he said he was.
He baked a 10-tier layer cake.
Yeah.
Well, I actually thought that was kind of a brilliant... you might have already talked about this, but we were talking after the episode about how actually, Doug, you had said to Jesse, they do that thing on Star Trek all the time where someone changes their face, because you guys had been talking about
Discovery.
It's like super casual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But I thought it was so interesting how usually that is done in a devious way, like it's done as part of a plot to do something evil.
Right.
And it's so interesting, that this was done as in a plot to do something trying to be just.
Right. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So I actually, and I did not foresee the twist on the twist. You
Yeah.
know?
Right. You actually looked at me and
I
said,
thought that was kind of brilliant.
it like before he was revealed to be Goldar heel, you like he's gonna be like the guy who was in charge of Galatep, isn't he?
Right.
Yeah, which is what the
Right.
episode kind of forces you to assume. And then when it's not him,
Yeah.
it's really surprising.
Yeah.
It's like it like kind of takes
Yes.
the air out of the sails of what you think is happening. It's like, well, then what the fuck is going on here?
And I do love that it's not that it loops back into him being who he said he was originally.
Right,
'Cause
totally.
That's a brilliant way. It means that all of his cover is so much easier to convey because there's all this record of him. There's a back thing for them
Right.
to look
Yeah.
at, you know.
Right. Yeah, it is like
Right.
it is such a brilliant plan. So what did you
Yeah.
think? I mean, I've been talking a little bit about being Jewish and like the relationship to
Yeah.
the Holocaust and
Sure.
everything. How did you feel watching this?
Sure.
Like, what did you think about the emotional core of the episode and like the message of the episode?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I think, it's so fascinating because I don't know that I would ever think was ever a part of, the Nazi Party.
Andy, sorry, we lost you for a second there. Can you repeat that?
Oh, yeah, that's okay. I was saying I would never think about being sympathetic to anyone who was part of the Nazi Party.
Right.
But it was interesting, if we're making this the equivalent,
Right.
it's interesting to see the perspective of someone who went through that in some ways in their mind, not against their will necessarily, but sort of. I mean, is his story, he was a clerk,
Right.
And then he obviously knew what was going on.
But he was too afraid to do anything about it.
Right.
Right.
They give
So
him
it's like-
self-loathing as his armor for why didn't he make the better moral choice earlier? That he acknowledges it. I was
Yeah.
a coward.
Yeah.
Right.
But also, like, what was he
Yeah.
supposed to do in that situation? For him to stand up and do anything, he'd be killed immediately.
Well, so that's what's interesting. In other versions
Yeah.
of this, they do sort of question that kind of thing or talk about it. Here, they don't. Nothing. We don't even know when did he come to this decision, what's going on, what
Right.
happened.
Right.
It's all just, oh, he was there. He was a coward, and it bothered him at the time it was happening.
Yeah, but it also, like...
Right.
And they don't do
if you-
anything more.
If you think about Schindler's List, and,
Yeah.
like, him being Schindler...
Basically,
like,
yeah.
But he didn't take action when he could have saved lives.
Right.
And he's been living with that guilt
Yeah.
for all this time, and it drives him to do this crazy
Are
plan.
you telling me you want to do a remake of Schindler's List where he pretends to be the person in charge of the factory, and then it turns out that he really is Schindler and he just wants to go on trial?
No, I want to remake Schindler's List, but with these actors
Oh, I see.
in makeup. Yeah. So you liked it?
I thought it was incredible.
Oh, good.
I also really thought it was kind of ballsy.
Yeah,
I think that, to tackle that subject matter,
yeah,
I don't know that a show would necessarily do that explicitly now.
Yeah.
Maybe they would, but I think there would be this fear of, like, oh, are you telling us to sympathize with a Nazi? Or I don't know,
Yeah.
there's such a ringing public voice in response to doing material that is controversial like that now, that but I thought it was fantastic, and I don't think you have to be flawlessly handling a subject matter to still successfully create content around it. And I just thought, I really admired that they wanted to tackle that idea and not just in a kind of typical way.
Yeah, that's really true. I think that the fear of not handling it perfectly would stop a lot of people from even trying. And Star Trek never shies
Yeah.
away from that. It's like,
Yeah.
let's tell a story about genocide and what it's like to live through it, and,
Yeah.
I like it when Star
Yeah.
Trek makes big, bold moves, even if sometimes it fails.
Yeah.
Totally. And not being afraid of failing. I think that's
Right.
so important. It's tough because now, I don't know if it's that there's more
It's just what
public
Amanda said.
discourse about media and stuff or what, but I think there is a little bit more of that self-editing that happens.
Yeah, you get such massive
because of
feedback
social media. Yeah, that's what Amanda was just saying in chat. Yeah, I think that's so true, and there's like the Me Too movement has been a wonderful thing for society, but it has also like made me personally more fearful about like what I'm saying publicly. You know, being like I feel like I need to be more aware of what I'm saying publicly.
I was gonna say fearful is. Being more aware is a better way, I think. To think about it.
Yeah. I mean, or I guess fearful of like what I've said in the past when I wasn't as thoughtful. You know?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, like you watch people like Kevin Hart have their old tweets come through and find like awful things.
Yeah.
All my old tweets are like, listen to this podcast, please, please, listen to this, watch this video. So I don't know, but like like my Facebook goes back like a decade or so, and I'm sure that I said like a bunch of idiotic shit when I was a kid.
So here's the thing: is that every day on Facebook you get the like 2 years ago, 3 years ago today.
Right.
There's a link that says click here to see more memories. Just every day, click that link to see what you posted that day.
Yeah.
And then within a year, you'll have cleaned up your Facebook history to be contemporaneously okay.
Sure.
And if you follow that policy every year, you'll always be catching up to.
Oop, we lost her.
What the current culture is on board with of being acceptable or not.
Hey Doug, Amanda sent me a message on Discord before we started.
Yeah.
It says tell Doug to hurry up.
I was only this late.
It was technical difficulties today.
Within our control.
Andy says to boldly go where no show has gone before. Yeah. Yes, totally. Okay, let's see if we can get Andy back here.
You want to do some votes-ins?
Yeah. We'll
We can get Andy's votes in here.
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh no.
Hello, you've reached...
Okay, we've lost Andy.
She might be living her own life somewhere.
Yeah.
Doing her own Andy stuff.
I actually made the poll already. Are you proud of me?
I'm pretty proud of you. Oh yeah, we didn't have any more aliens to vote for.
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Here is the chat poll to vote on a rating 1 through 10. Did we finish talking about this episode? I feel like I kind of want to watch the very last scene.
Yeah.
I like the compassion that Kira now has for this guy once she realizes his plan is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
What you tried to do was very honorable.
But then there's this like final turn in the episode.
I don't like the final turn.
Really?
Yeah.
This drunk guy that they set up early in the episode.
Right.
Ruins everything.
Right, and who was set up to be like, nah, I don't like all Cardassians.
Yeah.
Why? He wasn't our heel. Why?
He's a Cardassian. That's reason enough.
No.
Also, I mean, I shouldn't be laughing yet.
It's not.
So
it's good.
Yeah, I
and also this right here to me felt like it was hovering on the edge of. We were talking earlier about the hokey stuff that's like sitcom-y hokey. This scene right here hovers on the edge of being hokey in the like dramatic
way. I totally agree.
In a way that like I want to say like 50s and 60s TV has,
Yeah, I think that the final lines of dialogue are so good.
Yeah.
Like he's a Cardassian, that's reason enough. No, it's not. And her realization that that's the case is very powerful and kind of buttons the episode really well.
Yeah.
But it is a little frustrating.
Yeah, it comes out of nowhere. The fact that it's just some random drunk.
Yeah.
Versus like an extremist, like maybe a Bajoran. There was, I don't know. I feel like it would have been more interesting if there had been more tension between, if some other factions had shown up on the station earlier.
Or like an old friend from the Shikara Resistance shows up.
Something like that. There would.
Yeah.
This, in some ways, this episode would be better serviced by being a two-parter.
Yeah.
And it's good. I mean, it's a great self-contained thing. This ending just is like, and also I feel like it's not necessary itself. You don't necessarily need to just straight up murder him right at the last minute to have her say like, oh no, actually, not all Cardassians deserve to be murdered just because they're Cardassians.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of a better ending, and I don't dislike it. I hear you, and like as a kid, it made me stop watching Deep Space Nine because it was so depressing.
Right.
But like as an adult,
well, here's
the story is over. They're not going to use this character of Maritza again.
Right. Well, I mean, they could though, because they'll just be like, why don't we just beam him down to sickbay where we like routinely cure problems far worse than being stabbed with a knife this big.
But I think
totally.
Oh my god, he had a fucking arrow in his chest. Yeah.
So this is like literally nothing. That's the other thing that bothers me about it is that
he got him right in the Cardassian kidney, you know,
which is the center of all life. And
he got it. Yeah, exactly. He knows from his maybe that guy was in like the Resistance, and he knows from his time fighting.
Yeah, and that's the other thing.
They did set him up a little bit. Like that guy had been on screen a couple times as this like useless drunk
with the Cardassian.
And it is an interesting comment on what war does to people on both sides. The whole episode is.
Yeah.
But to this guy who was like the subject of subjugation to then turn around and become the villain at the very end is interesting.
Yeah.
Thematically, and
but it's also again they just make him an alcoholic. So that's like that to
but
me.
Maybe
is
he's
not
got PTSD and he's drinking a lot. You know.
Well, there could be other ways to
We got Andy back.
Andy!
You're back. Did your phone die?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry, I went into a parking garage.
Oh.
But I'm out now, so I should be able to hear you.
Nice. Okay.
That you were talking about being afraid of what you've tweeted.
Oh, right. Just like...
I'm sure you've moved on.
Well, and yeah...
But I do think that the self-editing is good to a degree, but I also think sometimes being afraid of making a mistake in talking about something that is complicated or potentially explosive or whatever prevents you from talking about it at all, and I don't think that's right either. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree, and that's something that like you and I have talked about with streaming a lot, because like streaming is not like when I'm playing Mario Maker, it's not really the time or the place, you know, to talk about serious political issues. Like there was a day on YouTube early on when you came home from a Black Lives Matter rally and people asked you where you were and you told them. And it opened up this like horrible debate in chat about like why people in chat started saying like Black Lives Matter, like I understand why you would want to support that, but it's like all lives matter, so why are you supporting that? And it's on the one hand it gave us the opportunity to talk about why Black Lives Matter is an important movement, but on the other hand like
saying, I heard actually a really good, I know this isn't what we're talking about, but I heard a really good analogy to say to people when they say all lives matter. And you can say, it was brilliant. They said, you know when you see Save the Whale? Well, it's not because you don't want the other sea creatures to live. It's not, but because the whales are endangered.
It's named for the specificity of the specific problem that it is trying to address.
Exactly. It's not like save all sea life,
Right. But yeah, I mean like...
Yeah, anyway.
But there's a time and a place, like a show like this where we're talking about social political issues because of Star Trek. Like this is the time to talk about that type of shit.
Some of the Facebook groups I'm in where people are like, ugh, I hate Discovery because it's all like SJWs ruin Star Trek, and people are like, do you like watch other Star Trek, or do you not understand what
SJW?
Social Justice Warriors?
Oh,
there's a contingency of people who seem to think Discovery, out of nowhere, has ruined the Star Trek franchise with filthy progressive values.
Have they never watched it before?
Yeah, it's
literally the point of Star Trek.
Yeah.
But people are just like mad about everything, you know. I mean, it's hard. It's hard as a fan to remember that it's more fun to look for reasons to like something.
Yeah.
You know, you do a much better job of this than me. Like, you liked Discovery when it was bad.
I'm chill, man. Well, because I knew what was going to happen. You know?
Yeah, you've said it and you were right. You know?
Enterprise has shown us the fallacy of cutting it off too soon.
Right.
Because Enterprise could have been a beautiful 7-season, flawed member of the continuum of Star Trek.
Right.
Could have accomplished great things. Instead, it gets cut off right when, like, there are people who will say Deep Space Nine is great once Worf gets there, which is what, season 5? You know what I mean?
4 or 5. It's late.
It's insane.
And people always say like TNG gets good when Riker grows a beard, which isn't true. It gets good in season 3. He grows a beard in season 2.
Right.
It gets good when the uniforms change.
But that's like 48 episodes of like that you write off, and then Enterprise is like, no, and I don't think it was the fan backlash or whatever, but it got a short lifespan, and people 3 episodes of Discovery like, this is the worst. It's garbage. It's just like,
well, the
out.
entirety of season 1, besides the first episode and maybe 2 others, what for me was like the worst run of Star Trek ever, including all of it, including the original series, including the animated series. It was just like the worst run that Star Trek has ever had. Like the worst story that it's ever told, because it didn't have a point, it didn't know where it was going, it didn't make any good valid arguments about our current society and how it can improve.
Right.
And it just failed on every level.
You wanted something very specific out of the storytelling with Star Trek. Yeah.
I wanted not trash, and it was trash. But the season 2 of Discovery has already done like 5 or 6 incredibly good stories.
It's crazy good.
It's so good.
I don't want to oversell it, but the next episode is.
I can't wait to watch it.
It's. I feel like this is my interpretation of Jesse. 3 seconds into Discovery, next episode. What the fuck?
I didn't even watch the next on, so I have no idea what it's about. I can't wait.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I got so sidetracked. What would Andy?
We're voting on
give
this
us
episode.
give us a rating 1 to 10 for this episode. What would you give it?
For this episode, I would give it. I think a 9.
Nice.
Solid.
Okay, has everyone else voted? I'm gonna post this in chat one more time. Where's chat? Chat's over here. Okay, there you go, guys. Hit that poll. Oh, look, if you hover over it, you can see.
Oh, neat.
That's cool. Let's take a look.
Was there a B story happening in this episode?
There's no B story. Wow, that's quite a split.
Someone doesn't like it.
Someone said 6 and someone said 10, and Andy said 9.
Right.
Oh.
But my vote of 9 is not counting, so we have to math it in.
8.3.
I'm curious who said 6. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, tell us your thoughts.
We did this out of order. That's okay. What was the final answer?
8.3.
8.3
for chat.
For chat. Okay. And Doug, well, Andy, I should probably let you go, but thank you so much for calling.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem. Also, just wanted to say, I did enjoy the other episode, what I saw of it.
Yeah, she saw like 2/3 of Names of Prophets.
Yeah, it's good.
You gotta finish it. It's so good.
Yeah.
Did you talk about it already?
No, we're gonna talk about it after the break.
Okay, great. Well, I'll stay in chat.
Okay, cool.
In the chat.
Nice. Twitch chat.
Okay. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
You gotta get a thing to plug Andy in so you don't have to hold the phone, so you can be hands-free with Andy voice chatting.
Yeah, well, hopefully, I mean, a lot of times she comes and hangs with us.
It's true.
Oh, Roach says 6 because of the death. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, like I said, that was the thing that stood out for me.
Yeah.
As in my heart, I would want to make this a 10, but the death is why I'm gonna go with a 9.
A 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not taking off 4 points for the death, but I totally get it. I don't think it fully undermines the episode to bring it down to a 6, and I still like so much the rest of the episode. I mean, I was on the fence about going 9.5.
Yeah.
On it because actually, you know what? I'm gonna go 9.5.
You're gonna go 9.5?
Because it is so, for me, it is just hits all of the things that I like Star Trek. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean,
you gave it a 9.
Oh, I haven't. What did I do? I did this wrong. That's you. You're 9.5. And this is me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide still. I'm either a 9 or a 9.5 too.
Yeah.
Because it's such a good episode. And like I talked about, the thing that sticks out to me is that you have this episode with these two like really impassioned points of view, and one of them ends up being false. So you don't really have a Cardassian point of view of someone who, like, you don't have Goldar Heel's point of view.
Right.
And I think that would have put this episode to a 10 to me.
Yeah.
Because this show is all about like not forcing your ideology onto anybody.
Right.
And in order for that to happen, you have to know what the other person's ideology is.
Right.
And we have this moment where like the fake Goldar heel is like, yeah, I want to bathe in their blood. And you're like, yeah, he's bad.
Right.
You know? But when that's fake and you don't know what the real Goldar heel said,
right.
My only fix for this episode is like put in like some footage, like war propaganda footage, or like an interview or something with Goldar heel, the actual Goldar heel. Like in the archive picture, there's also a little bit of footage or whatever.
That actually would be
like,
that would be another way you could wind up revealing, you know, that apart from doing the like, how would he know this information about you?
Yeah.
But if they found some footage of him, you could have done a narrative that involved like, oh, this speech that he gives shows something. That is contradictory.
Or his voice is different or something.
Something, yeah. There could have been another way.
That makes it a 10 to me, I think. And maybe a little... I don't know how to rework the ending, but...
Right.
There's something tragic about... I think they went for tragedy, obviously, at the end. But there is something tragic about having this progress made and then having it lost because this person dies.
Well, he's not dead.
They just take him to the infirmary and
like
fix the wound.
How many people are just like filled with glass from bar fights when Klingons show up?
I know, and Picard got stabbed in the heart
a couple of times.
Yeah, at least twice, and more if we count the time that Q made him relive it.
People go down there with like phaser burns.
Yeah,
you know, I think you could probably regrow hands.
Yeah. Hugh Culber was reconstituted out of the mycelial network. We can fix this guy's stab wound. Yeah, so there's something there that feels like it was the best option on the table, but maybe not the best option for the story. It's the only moment in the episode that feels that way to me.
Yeah, it does feel like a structural choice too, where they're like, oh, but look, here is a Bajoran who is the has these sentiments that a Goldar heel has, but has no power.
What if he's in a Bajoran prison at this point when they discover this, and then they decide to still execute him even knowing the truth? What about that ending?
No, that's a real good. That's like because that would then change so much.
Yeah.
As far as like,
but that's a two-parter. Like that opens this whole can of worms.
Well, so this, for my money, that would be a great thing if you were going to ever do like a DS9 reboot where you did make it not an episodic, but it was a serialized show, because that is a super like, and they do get close to that later on, where you're like, the provisional government are a bunch of dicks. You start to see like they are not necessarily good people, you know. In the very next episode, we see like, oh, some people in their religion are evil people.
Yeah,
the Bajorans are one of the rare instances in Star Trek outside of humans
where there's
nuance.
Yeah, there's like differences between their ideologies on the same world.
Right, and Klingons, they do that to a degree, but I still feel like Klingons, it was basically
they're pretty
like,
homogenous.
Yeah, like, look, they're evil warriors. Then it was like, well, you know, they're not. Maybe evil warriors are just as bad as you think.
Yeah, totally.
But they're still all like a monolith of behavior.
Right. Whereas you have like Vedic Wayne and Vedic Bareil who have different ideologies.
Right.
Which is fascinating. We'll talk about it very soon.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to finish up with this episode, so let's vote. Oh, I'm going to give it a 9. I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay, perfect.
It's such a good episode. My memory of it was that it was a 10, but as we talk about those two slight changes...
Yep. You see how much more it could be.
The first episode of the season I gave a 9.
Yeah.
I think. Because I adore that episode. No, I gave it a 9.5.
Oh, I gave it 8.5. Interesting.
Yeah. And I feel like... that's so hard. I'm going to give it a 9.
Yeah, stick with your gut. Oh,
2.
9.2. 9 bars, 2 strips.
9.2 feels perfect to me. Where's my 2? Give me a 2.
Give me a 2.
Give me a 2. There we go. What did I do?
9.2 slash.
9.2 slash. Okay. Who do we want to nominate for best performance? Is that what we do next?
Favorite character.
Okay, let's make a new poll. Favorite character. Obviously, Maritza. Kira. Cisco. Odo. That's about it for this one, I think.
Yeah, that was the other thing that...
Trunky.
Space Batman.
Space Batman. What, Drunky McBajor.
Oh, I see, Drunky McBajor, yeah.
And Space Batman.
Oh, it's so dangerous to put joke characters in
Because
here.
you know chat's gonna pick them.
Well,
okay, chat.
I want to pick them.
If it's your truth,
It's
then
not-
you can pick it.
No,
It has to be true, though.
You know how close it is to my truth because you saw I wrote that down when I watched
did.
that, and when that dude just like comes trucking around the corner.
Shall we?
3430.
34. Shall we take one
Wait.
more look at Space Batman?
I wrote down the number. 1930.
Yeah.
He does a full turn
He's so cool.
because they knew they are like, listen, this dude spent 4 hours getting a vagina put on his face and pouring himself into this gold lame outfit. He is definitely gonna full frontal face the fucking camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does he take a left onto the? He walks down this and then he takes a left onto the bridge.
You can kind of see it.
Or is he just walking out and then turning around and
But, like,
walking back? We have to go back.
They
We have to
don't.
see again.
They cut it off a little too much for my taste.
I'll hold you.
Oh, Gold Ducat.
Yeah.
So good.
It's so perfect because
His lighting, the green and the red, I love it. Pensive fingers looking this way.
Pardon me. Whoop.
Oh yeah, so he walks from one platform to the other.
Right.
He's got some space junk.
You can barely see where the platform is.
Did you see his space junk?
No, I did not.
He's got a.
Oh yeah.
Wow. It's like pointed. Do you think that's a prosthetic?
Well, I mean, in this universe, obviously, you could get whatever you wanted.
Is that the actor's real penis, or is that a prosthetic? Dude, if I were in the Star Trek like costume department, I would straight up put fake penises on there with like a weird
Right.
like claw on it or something because they're an alien and they have like a barbed penis or whatever. I would so do that. That's why I don't get hired for these things. Also,
All right.
no experience and I don't belong there at all.
I'm
Anyway,
going with Maritza.
for what are we voting on?
Favorite
character.
Yeah, I love Space Batman so much, but that's how good Maritza was.
I brought up how to spell it.
Oh, good.
Eamon Maritza. Yeah.
Yeah, he was such a good character and interesting, and the more I think about it, the more I do kind of like the elaborateness of his plot and everything.
Yeah. His story is really compelling. And it's so well performed. It's kind of a magic trick, except for that one stupid run. But for me, I think my favorite character in this episode is Kira.
Yeah.
Which surprised me rewatching it because she has that open flexibility to change her mind.
Yep.
And like she just has so much weight on her shoulders and she carries it really well in this episode.
Legit.
And grows and like releases some of the burden of hatred. I really like it. So
More
I'm going
importantly,
with Kira.
Amanda says that me talking about the vagina face belongs on our highlight reel.
Yes, another one for the clip reel. I want to keep doing those because it was fun.
It's nice.
It's like 3 minutes long or less.
Yeah.
It's like really short.
But you have to go back through and find stuff.
I just like went to things that I remembered.
Good.
You know.
Yep.
I just looked for yelling. Like I just did it the easiest way possible.
Find the sound spikes. That's where.
Yeah.
That's a very Star Trek solution to it too.
Yeah, totally. Let's analyze.
I analyzed this and I found some spikes in the audio.
Okay, so we have a tie between Maritza and Space Batman from chat. Space Bat Mitzvah. Space Bat Mitzvah. It's like a bar mitzvah. Space Baritza.
Bat Mitzvah is for ladies.
Oh yeah, Bat Mitzvah.
Yeah.
Bar Mitzvah or Bat Mitzvah.
Yeah.
I totally didn't even register that you'd said that. Space Bat Mitzvah. Okay. I'm sold on that.
Yeah.
It's fine. I didn't recognize Bat Mitzvah as
because you're thinking of it as a bat.
Because it's a bat mitzvah.
Right.
So it didn't even
right.
occur to me. Space Bat Mitzvah.
That's good enough. We're just making it up. So.
Making it one word.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Best performance.
Best performance. Kira, Cisco.
I feel like it's got to be between Kira and Maritza.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're not even going to give other...
I don't even feel like anyone else is in this episode enough to deserve a nomination. What do you think?
Well, yeah.
Chat, what do you think?
Barely. Like, Cisco and Odo, limited. But you would have to... I'd say put him in there, but you would have to really not like Kira or Maritza's performances. Because Cisco has some stuff, you know, but it's like...
It's small, it's quiet.
Baseline Avery Brooks doing well. Same thing with Odo.
Best performance. This is a tough one.
Yeah.
What do you think, Doug?
I'm going to go with Maritza. I mean...
Yeah.
It's International Women's Day, and I'm twice voting for the dude in this one. But...
Story by two women, teleplay by a man. Very weird. Very weird. Wonder why.
Well, I think it was because they wanted to have this... This one, I think, does that lawyer structure.
Sure.
You know? Because this is it's an investigation that's peeled back. And I think, did a great job. My guess would be starting from the end point and then moving backwards through it.
Harris Yulin is his name.
Ah, okay.
I'm torn between him and Kira because I think that I was so impressed with her performance in this episode.
Yeah.
I didn't like her when I was a kid. Like, Kira was not my favorite character.
Yeah.
And I think it's because her story made me uncomfortable. Because it like, obviously I didn't live through the Holocaust, but my, you know... that I am Jewish, and like it hits a little close to home to think about, and it made me uncomfortable, and I just kind of like pushed it away a little bit.
Yeah.
But as an adult, I'm like really embracing her story now and really getting into it, and also her performance, because I was also upset as a kid that she wasn't Michelle Forbes.
Right.
Because I know that Ensign Ro was supposed to come over and be the Kira character, and Michelle Forbes didn't want to do it, so they wrote Kira and hired someone else, and I was always a little butthurt about that. But
it's honestly too bad.
The non-visitor is so good.
She is great, but I will say, objectively speaking, Michelle Forbes would have done a far better job. Michelle Forbes would have been a better actor than Avery Brooks on a regular basis on this show. Because I think that she has...
It feels like a missed opportunity.
I mean, I get it from her point of view, because who would want to have all that fame and money?
Right, exactly. But you're also, like, pigeonholing yourself.
Oh, totally. I mean, that would basically be saying, this is what I'm going to do.
For the rest of my life.
There's a part of me where I sometimes think about that, like, no, I think someone like her would have been able to transcend out of it.
And people do. I mean, Patrick Stewart has.
Patrick Stewart, right. And I think that is the gold standard. But he's also, like, a fucking super good actor.
And he's transcended out of it so well that he can now go back to it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a magic trick.
I love TNG. I love Data. I do think that Brent Spiner has a idea about his acting level that does not match the reality. Because he seems to be very bitter about only being known for this and not really being able to do much more after that and being typecast. But it's also like, typecast, but also maybe you hadn't ever transcended beyond what was there. You know?
Like his other big performance is the Doctor from Independence Day,
right?
Which he's great at, but it's not like I don't know. I mean,
he would have, if he wanted to keep doing like weird, side characters.
Sure. Like Patrick Stewart just has done a lot of like smaller movies that were really quality. Yeah. Like he chose well. I remember when he was in Conspiracy Theory.
Yeah.
He was great in that.
He does the waiter in what is it? Is it the Steve Martin movie?
Oh my god, I haven't seen that. He was on Frasier a couple times. Like, he's just a really versatile actor, and everything he's in, he's different, and he has like transcended.
He has acting chops, and I think Michelle Forbes has that level of acting chops.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think Avery Brooks comes close to it, but also I think Avery Brooks is a weird actor.
He like comes close to it, surpasses it, and then goes somewhere else.
Yeah, Avery Brooks is on the mushroom scale of acting. He's his
totally.
own. You don't judge Avery Brooks by human standards.
Totally.
Also, this episode is like whatever baseline. For me, it's 0. There's 0 mushrooms.
For the mushroom scale?
Yeah. Even though there's transporters and there's like face reconstruction and all that stuff, that to me is like...
I'm giving it a 2 for face reconstruction.
Nah, see, to me that's like accepted background level of Star Trek. It's not space magic. That's like science that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
You can have your own baseline.
I'm giving it a 2.
Yeah. You can have your own baseline for my made-up scale.
I really want to give this to Harris Yulin, but I think I'm going to give it to Nana Visitor for best performance. I think also because, like, the episode doesn't work without her performance.
Right.
Like, he comes in and he knocks it out of the park, sure.
Yeah.
She's a regular on the show. She's not necessarily given the best material all the time.
Right.
And then this episode is all about her. It's about her growth, and she portrays it, and it makes the episode work.
Absolutely.
So for me, as miraculous of a performance as Harris Yulin gives as Maritza, I have to give it to Kira.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm doing it.
I kept thinking during this one that Harris Yulin is what would have made that one episode where she was with that. Yeah.
It's a tie between Kira and Maritza in the chat. So Major Makira.
Major Makira. Kieran Naritza.
Or Eamon Makira.
Eamon Makira.
What did you say?
Kieran Naritza.
I thought you said Cumin Naritza.
No, because it's Kieran Naris.
Right.
So Kieran Naritza.
Kira Naritza. That's
Kieran Naritza?
And then what did I say? Eamon Makira.
Eamon Makira. They're all good.
Kira Maritza, I think, is better. What do you think, chat?
Subvote.
Brent Spiner on Blacklist. I have not seen that.
I haven't seen that either. And he's fine. He's a fine actor. I just mean that, like, he's someone who wasn't going to be able to... If Star Trek had not come around, nobody would be talking about him. I think it's a shame that Patrick Stewart, I think, had a shot at getting fame without Star Trek. You know, maybe not to this level, but something. And I think it's a shame that we don't know more about Michelle Forbes as far as acting goes.
Yeah, she was on True Blood for a while. Like, she kind of... And then she was on Babylon 5, or Battlestar Galactica around the same time. Like, she kind of made a resurgence in fandom.
Yeah.
But she was gone for a while.
I feel like she kept turning down stuff that was had any whiff of genre fiction.
I think that,
and then later was like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean...
She definitely could have done this, and I think would have been...
She would have been so good.
Right.
And I was so mad about that for years. But then when you watch the whole show and you get to seasons, like, 6 and 7... And the way that Kira changes is really cool.
Yeah.
And really, like, fascinating and really well performed. And now going back and watching it again, it's always been there. I just, like, was holding her up to this standard that isn't fair. You know, I just love Ensign Ro. I loved that character. And I wanted that character to be on this show so badly.
What's so funny is how often Star Trek wants to have ties between the series of having the characters be different things. In different shows or even different episodes, and then they either don't do it because they're cheap bastards and don't want to pay residual rights,
or they change the name,
or the actor doesn't want to do it. You know,
or like with Tom Paris,
where they're just like
they like straight up changed the name. He was Nick Locarno,
right? And they just
changed it's the same character, but they changed his name. He even like was in like a
same backstory,
penitentiary, you know. Same basic backstory.
So they didn't have to pay.
So they didn't have to pay the writers of the first duty episode. Yeah.
T'Pol being from the TOS, the old lady that they
T'Pau.
T'Pau, yeah. Right. They didn't want to pay the amok time. No, what is that? Doesn't matter. But that particular, they didn't want to pay that person.
Yeah.
You know, this one, they didn't have to pay someone, and then it's the actor who chooses not to do it.
Right.
So it's like Star Trek would have all of these interlocking, overlapping things.
Right.
So that's the other reason why when people are like, well, Discovery's just putting Spock in there for blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, you mean what Star Trek tries to do every fucking time?
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, they put McCoy in the first episode of TNG.
Yeah.
Unrecognizably.
Yeah.
But he was there. Did we finish our polls? We did.
We finished
our
polls.
We fucking did it. Okay. Well, I think we're ready for a break.
Let's take a break.
Yeah. I forgot to update...
Oh, you could put the meme in for...
Oh, yeah. Did you send those to me? I always forget to check.
I emailed them, yes.
Cool. Let's do that. And then I gotta update my AFK screen with the new episodes for Season 2, which is so exciting.
Ooh.
Which one?
10 items or less.
I'm not looking, I'm just downloading.
Okay.
Okay. Now we'll pop it up on the screen. Add media. New source. Browse.
And then 10.
Downloads. Well. Person in front of me at the 10 item or less lane clearly has 11 items. Me. I'm your nemesis. I'm your nightmare. Nice. I like that one. Ugh, what a great episode.
I was debating between having it be petty frustration at that or at people who don't zipper merge properly.
Yeah.
Where when people in front of me don't zipper merge the right way, and I'm just like, I want your car to blow up right now. I get so irrationally
Yes.
intense about zipper merging.
That's pretty funny. We live in a society and there are rules. You know?
I always tell Rosalie that's like one of my favorite tagging groups is people that it's the George Costanza.
Yeah.
Yeah, we live in a society. Just whenever I see that tagged in a thread of people arguing. I feel that on a very deep and personal level.
Yeah, totally. Me too. All right, well, we're gonna take a quick break. Let me
AFK.
Let me update this AFK screen before I go away.
I better. Well, I'll wait.
Oh, you can go do your thing.
Okay.
Go get smoking.
I was afraid of pushing on the screen and making.
Oh, it's fine.
Making space wiggle behind you.
A space wiggle's good. Let's see. Deep Space Nine. Oh wait, I can look here. What are the next 2 episodes called?
Can anyone see it when I push my butt up against the screen like this?
No.
But they want to, right?
They do want to. They're all saying that. Okay, let's see. Season 2. The Homecoming and The Circle. Oh, I'm so excited. I don't remember what these are, though. Okay, next episodes to watch are The Homecoming. I just wrote The Ho-Coming. The Homecoming. Season 2, Episode 1. And The Circle. Season 2, Episode 2. And the nice thing is that because the first episode was listed as a different episode number on different websites, we won't have to deal with that anymore. Which is very exciting. Okay. Oh, and then oops. Gotta fix this real quick. This is killer streaming right here. Fix my patron list. Guys, I've added a new Patreon reward. It is a Twitch archive of my game streams. And I might do that with the Doug Space 9 archive also. But you can check out Patreon if you want to see that. I have streams from there's like 22 streams already archived because I had everything that I've saved for one reason or another all put up there. Okay, save as PNG. Replace it. Okay, did I do it? Not working. Is this the new one or the old one? The boom! Done. Okay, updated. Alright.
We are now officially away from keyboard.
Yeah, we're now officially going on break. And we'll be back in a few minutes. What did I do?
I love that picture, though.
Thank you. What happened? I did my hotkey and it closed something else. I must have had the wrong thing selected.
Technical difficulties within our control.
CBS.com. Hold on, I'm gonna turn off the webcam here. I'm gonna fix this. I'll see you guys in a minute. All right, we're back.
We're back.
We're back, and we are moving on to the next episode.
In the hands of the prophets.
In the hands of the prophets. What a great episode. What an awesome season finale. How does this one start? I don't remember. Miles, look out. I need my headphones.
With Jumja sticks.
Jumja sticks, that's right. Oh, there's so much to talk about in this episode.
Yeah. And, the guy who looks like Jerry from Parks and Rec.
Oh my god.
Neela told me.
Did she?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is setting up Neela.
Neela, yeah. That was another meta thing.
Oh, we got it in the background on the top left.
Yeah.
You can't see it. Hold on, let me move the screen. How am I gonna do this?
Well, you can't.
I can't.
There we go. That's it. That's as much as they're gonna show.
Yeah. Right, like right at the top. Of,
yeah, you have to move
behind
the mouse
Miles's head.
Off of it.
You actually can't see the mouse on this screen, unfortunately. But there's like a skeleton up there.
Right here. Do this.
Oh, you know what?
And then
I take this. I could take this screen off, and then they can just see it.
Hang on. There we go. See now that's.
See how it's like covered on here? This is ridiculous.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant for us.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, see behind Miles, there's like that skeleton hanging from the ceiling. I noticed it early in the season. Over there. There's like, we literally can't go beyond that because it doesn't exist. Yeah, that thing is apparently there all the time. I never noticed it before.
Unfortunate.
Okay, so they're setting up Neela, which is O'Brien's helper, and she was actually in the last episode. That's something that we didn't touch on, but
right, I meant to.
And apparently, remember a couple episodes back, he had a helper named Inara.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. There's a meta thing here too.
Right, yeah, she was supposed to be Neela in this episode. Was supposed to be Inara from a couple episodes back, but the actress didn't work out, so they fired her and replaced it with a different character.
Right, but basically same thing. Young Bajoran woman.
Right. Exactly.
Who's a competent assistant.
And there's this little bit of jealousy. Here, let's just run this, because.
Ooh, Neela.
Right, and then that's what the
Keiko's
slide.
like a little
Is she
jealous
working out
about
better
Neela.
than the other one?
Glad to hear her expertise doesn't end with Jumja sticks.
No. She's a
Now,
really good
I have a different read on this.
Yeah?
I don't think that she's jealous. I have my own long-term read on this.
Hit me. Because I don't like her being jealous. I think that's a weird character choice.
Yeah, I don't think that she's jealous. I think she's needling Miles because she knows Miles is a stick in the mud. I feel that the headcanon for Keiko is that she wishes that Miles would just, as comes out later, admit his man crush on Bashir is something more than bro-y friends. And I think that she would be fine for the sake of their marriage if they explored perhaps a more modern style arrangement since they live in the future. And she's messing with him here, and then here's I
like this read.
Right. So she's not really jealous. She's smirking. Right?
Right.
So she knows that what's going on. Just keeping you on your toes. Now, here's the line.
Very funny.
Be careful who you share
your Jumja with.
Right. She's expressing a like, hey, you know what? Maybe if you are going to explore some things outside of the marriage, you should probably talk about it. But I just want you to be careful of who you're putting your Jumja stick in.
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you.
I prefer it. It's a great line.
But also, this is my other favorite thing is that because Miles is a dope, so he's like, share my Jumja stick. He's thinking like, this is my fucking Jumja stick. I'm not giving my Jumja stick to anyone else. Well, it's just you and me. And then he's like, oh, she means it as my penis. Right? He's like, oh, my Jumja penis. Yeah. Huh? So.
It just couldn't have ended any better than that.
Yeah.
He just puts it right in his mouth.
Yeah.
Good freeze frame, by the way.
I was busting up laughing the rewatch when I had that headcanon going.
That is so funny. This episode is like It's so good. It almost hurts my brain.
It's
like
weird
how
that
did they
it's
do
only
this?
one episode.
It's crazy. So much happens. There's this incredible like subterfuge plot going on that they're trying to unravel that they finally figure out at the last second.
That also dovetails into the other story.
Yeah, it perfectly dovetails into the other story. Like this whole thing of like why like there's this Starfleet ensign who was killed. They find like his remains in the plasma conduit.
But it even starts out more innocuously where O'Brien can't find a tool.
He can't find a tool, yeah.
Right. And then they find the tool because they can scan for the metal it's made out of.
Yeah.
And it's melted down inside of Jeffrey's tube, whatever it's called.
Right.
An access whatever.
With the remains of a ensign.
Right, but yeah, and then that's the next step. They find the metal melted, then they analyze the metal and find DNA on it.
Right.
Then they can identify who specifically it was.
Right.
So then they start tracing where that person was.
But then they think it's an accident, and then they start uncovering other things to think that maybe it's a murder.
Right.
And it all like traces back to this file that they have to unencrypt.
Right.
Which is a really cool sequence where like they have a really, simple but effective thing on the screen to show you then like decrypting and it just all works so well.
It's a rare moment of Star Trek computer babble. Like they do techno babble, but there's like there's like science techno babble, and then there's warp techno babble.
Right.
This is computer techno babble that actually is like
it actually makes sense.
It makes sense. It's
and
legitimate.
Works. Yeah.
And also, it's the kind of thing. So the program, it turns out, is someone's escape route where they're going to set up a series of force fields. They're going to open and close as they go, which is a classic Star Trek move.
Yeah.
The when you need to get out of somewhere and you know everyone's going to be jumping down your shit.
Set up the force field thing.
And so
I love it.
And I love that this is showing like, oh, someone basically wrote a script that is going to do this kind of thing, so that she can just go through her escape route.
Right. Totally. Yeah. It's beautiful. It like the Star Trek nerd in me is just like yes. And then on top of that, we get the introduction of Kai Wynn.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Vedic Wynn. Excuse me.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Jake, it's stable. It's stable. That's
Talking about the
right,
wormhole in
Jake.
school.
It's the first stable
Here she
wormhole
is.
known to exist.
Yeah.
Louise Fletcher.
So great.
Please continue.
Ah, she's so good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump ahead to
because it allows us to travel secure in the knowledge that
her being upset here.
Expect that the Bajoran people believe that it
Keiko being upset.
Vedic Wynn being upset.
No, see, yeah, she's not upset though. I don't think. Keiko gets under her skin here.
To open the children's minds to
Keiko's being played for a fill right now.
You are opening the children's minds to blasphemy.
Like,
and I cannot
Kai expects all of the answers that...
That's a good point. Like, she walked in that room expecting those answers.
Everything, right? All of this is goading Keiko and the Federation into this fight that we know through the other reveals that Kai wants to have happen. Like, an argument could be made that this is convenient for Kai, that it works in her already held beliefs about the teaching of the philosophy and of the Federation.
I didn't think about that.
But it's not her main purpose. We're led to believe that this is what she's doing for its own sake.
Right.
But she's really doing it as an elaborate plot to get
Vedic Bareil onto the station so that she can kill him.
Right, which at this point, this is only one piece of it with Keiko.
Right.
The other pieces have already been set in motion.
Right.
At this point, the Ana file has already been made.
Ugh.
You know, the other dude might already be dead.
You're right. I didn't think about... Why did she walk into this classroom? It's to incite the issue.
She needs
she's
that
doing
issue.
this on
Right,
purpose.
right. She has
so
to have
that
it
she can
escalate.
have something to be talking about on the station that's going to bring Vedic Bareil there.
Right. So
you are so right.
All of her reactions here is she's in complete control. She's already... Wynn is already... Like, she's playing the 10-dimensional chess. She's already 2 steps ahead of Keiko.
Wynn is one of my favorite villains ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
She is
so well done.
So well performed, so well written, and just, like, amazing.
She's electric in every scene.
Yeah, Wynn and Gul Dukat, just like having those two kind of through lines of villainy throughout this whole show is so powerful.
Yeah, and the fact that they're both villains on the opposite sides.
Right, totally. I want to talk a little bit about this scene though, because this scene is also the other side of this episode is that it brings up this church and state debate.
Yes,
and it explores it like really well and really effectively, and it does such a good job of also being Star Trek while being like this unraveling murder mystery thing.
Right, and they're not dismissive of the religious side,
right?
Which would
is
normally
great.
be the Star Trek reflexive.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, and this scene is interesting because Keiko is basically saying, like, we don't teach anything religious in this classroom.
Right.
But I do feel like this situation where there are aliens in the wormhole and, like, they legitimately might be the prophets of Bajor.
Well, that's
like there is
Cisco says they can see to the future.
Right.
Of course,
why can't they be prophets?
How can they not be
There
prophets?
is a scientific explanation for them actually being the prophets,
Right.
you know? And to ignore that actually seems to go against the idea of teaching science, because it's a huge important thing anthropologically for this culture that they are living right next to and they are learning about. So
yeah,
it actually, like, I of course I don't agree with Kai Wynn that it should be taught in this classroom that they are religious figures.
Right.
But I think that addressing it is okay.
Right.
I think that Keiko is maybe a little too strict.
Right.
In her thing of keeping it out of the classroom.
Yeah.
And where in this situation I feel like you could bring it in through science.
Right.
Legitimately.
And see, here's the thing: is that Kai, I think, knows this.
Yeah.
It's
so
Kai
hard.
knows it. Yeah,
Wynn's gonna become the Kai. I'm sorry.
Right.
I can't help it.
It's she's more
eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
So
it'll be a
Wynn,
long time. I'm sorry I fucked it up.
No, I'm doing it too. Because that's how I think of her.
I think of her as Kai Wynn.
Yeah.
She's Kai Wynn.
Yeah.
Vedic Wynn is too many syllables. You can't do it.
So Vedic Wynn, where was I going with it? That doesn't matter.
Something about her knowing where she was going. Baiting Keiko. No.
Oh, right. Vedic Wynn is, again, my other point about this already being a plot this is already like step 3 of her plot.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
She's
I love that.
Intentionally staking out a position further, which fits in with her philosophy, but she's not moving towards a compromise.
Yeah.
I think in a real world situation, she would be fine, and later on she starts to throw out some bad compromises for them.
Right.
Wanting them to reject everything.
Sure. Yeah. I didn't pick up on that, because I don't know, I just didn't think about that. I didn't think about, like, why is Kai Wynn doing everything she's doing? Because she's always just, like, showing up and being a jerk.
Well,
You know, that's just who she is.
And
So because I've seen this before, I just like, oh, she's just being a jerk.
And that's the implication they are intentionally giving you.
Yeah.
Because her being revealed to be part of it is a good twist that isn't, obvious while you're watching it first through.
Right. What do you make of this debate, the church and state debate that they have in this episode?
What do you mean?
Just like where do you stand on it? Like, how do you feel about it?
Well, the classic Star Trek in-universe solution here is what people say is like, she teaches this, and then there's also a religious school that you can go to.
Sure.
It's
interesting, like...
But Vedic Wynn's point is she's trying to say, well, just don't talk about the wormhole in your class.
Right.
But then that's saying, we have ownership over this.
Right.
We own all information about this.
Right.
Which I think is a bit extreme, because they're parked next to it and their job is to protect it.
Right.
So to not acknowledge what it is.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I like the fact that they set up... so normally... let's talk about what this is kind of referencing in our society, of course, which is, like, evolution, for example. Like, the church
Which they bring in later.
Oh, do they? I forgot.
As a side note, because Vedic Wynn is like, well, how about this is our compromise? And then we'll do, that's the way it can work. And then Keiko says, yeah, but what happens when we start to go to teach evolution?
Yeah.
And then Wynn is like, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Right. I remember that now.
So they make, they really do. So if you...
Yeah, they're really tying in specifically, like that was a debate that was happening, and it's still happening,
happens,
but it was happening when this show was made. But I love that this show takes it in a little bit of a different direction than you'd expect, where I do feel like the Bajoran side of it makes a little more sense.
Well, because the Bajorans, objectively, their gods are real, and are out there, and they're things you can measure.
Right, so then it kind of, like, makes me more in the middle than I'd normally be, because I'm always, like, I'm a scientific person, I'm always on the side of science, but I feel like in this situation, like, discounting the Bajorans' beliefs is...
you can't, and that's Cisco's journey, because
in
our culture, you can say, well, wait a minute, what if none of this stuff you say has taken place, according to the Bible, is real? Then how can this be used as a justification for explaining that evolution works this way?
Right.
Where here, it's like, our gods exist, they're over there, They can see time as a fluid thing, not a static thing. And also, they will come to you and tell you specifically what they want you to do.
Yeah.
Multiple times. And if you don't do it,
totally,
bad things happen to you.
Eventually, this very woman will be embodied by one of them.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
you can't deny...
but I love that the show did that. It made the debate of church and state a little bit more, like...
You take it as a granted that the thing the other side believes in is factually true and exists.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't have.
Right.
We don't have the other side going, okay, God is a real thing, who you can speak to, who I don't believe is God, will speak to me and also tell me to do things.
Right. It's as if, like, a doorway to heaven opened up over Earth.
Right.
And you could contact God through it, but no one really knew how.
Well,
but some people had visions and stuff.
Well, we also have God boxes, here.
Right, God boxes.
that you can just open up and...
Yeah. But, I mean, the Bajoran religion being based off of these real aliens, like, of course it would be, you know?
Yeah.
Like, of course they will develop a religion based off of these very real aliens that have, like, been out, like, in the Celestial Temple.
Right.
The whole history of Bajor. Even though the wormhole wasn't discovered and open and being used for passage, it was, there.
Right.
Yeah, it just hadn't been discovered yet.
The orbs fell to Bajor, you know?
Out of the Celestial Temple. The Celestial Temple had been seen before. It's the opening to the wormhole. Like, it is a real thing, and it's just such a cool sci-fi premise to unravel, and this episode finally, like, bites into it a little bit in a way that's, like, meaty and delicious.
It's something that I wish Star Trek did more of. Like, I would love to see Star Trek that explored this in a quadrant level, because one of my headcanon things is that this is the nature of the galaxy and the Alpha Quadrant, probably all of the quadrants, where there are pre-warp people, then there are the warp civilizations, and then there are the gods.
Sure.
That
like
are like
Q,
right?
Yeah.
And
so far advanced that they might be
gods.
That
they are effectively gods.
That's the word. Yeah. That effectively, like, based off of our technology and our existence.
And not only are they
like
effectively gods, they are literally gods. So the wormhole aliens are literally the gods of Bajor.
Yeah.
So in my headcanon, and also TOS, we meet Apollo, who is the Greek god.
Right.
Like, he is a real...
Within the first 5 episodes, there's, like, 3 god characters.
Right, and there's no trick there. There's not like... It's not like Star Trek V, fake god, which is fake out.
Right.
This is Apollo, who people literally worshipped on Earth.
Right.
One of our gods is out there. Just like the Bajoran gods are objectively out there. So one of my headcanons, 2 of my headcanons are, Kalish is a similar being for the Klingons, and they did literally murder him.
The Klingons murdered him.
Worf has a line where they're talking about religion, and they're like, "What about your gods?" And then Worf says, "The Klingons murdered their gods a long time ago. They were more trouble than they were worth."
Isn't there like myths about Kalis murdering those gods or something?
That could be that Kalis is the hero that kills the gods, but I'd have to look to see. But the point being that was another example of these super advanced beings who are objectively real.
Oh, I see what you're saying. And the Klingons killed them.
But
I'm with you now.
But first they worshipped them.
Oh, I love that.
Like, you guys are a bunch of assholes.
And Kalis is the hero that kills them.
And further, there's this is the
that's cool.
The more controversial headcanon is that the Q Continuum are the like monotheistic religion, are Yahweh, Jehovah, Christian God.
Yeah.
That is one or more members of the Q Continuum, which explains their obsession with humanity.
Right.
But now they're just like, let's not own up to this stuff. Like, we're still fucking with you in a different way.
That makes a lot of sense. It's either that or it's Ardra.
Oh, Star Trek. It's weird. Or the old guy Jason, or whatever his name is, the one that lives on the planet.
The guy lives on the planet with his wife,
who disappeared an entire civilization. We taled about this before, where I'm always writing a shit like, well, why not bring them back?
I killed the Hushnak. That was a good impression.
It was pretty good.
I surprised myself.
So anyway,
I love that with the Klingons, though, because I forgot that line, but your logic makes perfect sense as far as what we see. Like, we keep meeting aliens that are basically effectively gods.
The Andorians will also have their own version of super powerful beings that have taken an unnatural interest in them.
And like, we had that episode in season 1 of TNG, Justice, where we meet a society that is not even pre-warp, like who basically worships this thing that hovers outside of their planet that they call God. That's like this weird thing that's like halfway between our reality and somewhere else that seems somewhat reasonable. You can't communicate with it, and it makes sense that they would worship that as God.
Course,
you know,
yeah.
like it's just one step beyond what we have. Like we've just made stories because people need stories. Because there is something about existing that feels like I don't know.
Is Jesse struggling with existential dread? Where are you going with this?
I'm struggling with like how would you describe the religious experience to someone who's not religious? You know, like if you have a spiritual experience, or you feel like the presence of something, or you feel
a belief in something outside of the tangible, provable.
Yeah, totally. And I think like everyone has had moments like that.
It's like an internal personal experience that feels as real, if not more real, than the shared objective reality you have with your other people.
Yeah, yeah.
So of course you want to meet up with other people who are like, I also believe in this.
Yeah, and like people have a need to like have a hierarchical like way that they fit in the universe.
Well, I think
so. Like when you look at the sky and you don't know what it is,
right.
you tell a story about it to make yourself more comfortable.
Right. I think it's explaining the mysteries, and that some people don't live or sit well with the unknown. So having a reason for it, and you know, the universe is cruel and random. So having a belief like, oh wait, no, you know what? There's other people who are doing this.
Right.
They have their reasons.
There's so many reasons to believe in God. Like there are so many reasons that it can be like helpful or I don't know, just like hopeful for people.
Sure.
And it's interesting that every society in our Earth has almost, I mean, probably every society has some sort of creation myth or God figure or something.
Yeah, I don't think there were ever, as far as I know of anthropologically, was there ever a culture that developed that was atheistic naturally?
I don't
that
think
was just
so.
like, nah, we're cool. And
right.
Even in Star Trek, now thinking about it, that's not a thing they've ever explored, you know?
Yeah, which is a great idea for an episode.
Yeah.
But it seems like the general arc of society, according to Star Trek, is like, when you don't have science, you tell stories,
right.
and you create belief structures and all that stuff. But then when you have science, you start to fill in the holes. Then you walk further away from that. Amanda, thank you so much for the bit. You have a book. Justin says I have a book on neurotheology that we should read.
Ooh.
Oh, I want to read that. That sounds cool.
Let's do Star Trek book club. So it'll be an hour of Discovery, an hour of book club, and then 2 hours for the 2 episodes.
Oh my God, let's do it. Amanda also says, to a religious person, our existence needs to be intentional. Yeah, and like
it makes sense. You have a purpose in life, so you know you exist for a reason.
Yeah, and I love the idea of making it literal in this show, and I also love the idea that
it allows them
like
to explore it in a interesting way.
Yeah, totally. Because when people are saying like we're doing this for the prophets,
right?
Like, how do you know that? You know.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know, because so many things were done in God's name in our past that were like atrocious.
Yeah.
And people's interpretation of what God is or isn't saying is like has like crumbled whole civilizations on our Earth.
Well,
you
yeah,
know?
because there is no objective answer.
Right.
It's all other people's opinions.
Right.
You know?
And to me, I mean, I've always looked at religion as like systems of control. Like, I really believe that that's what religion has become.
Yeah, but you could say
like,
the state is a system of control by the same measure, you know?
Sure, but it's a system of control in which we have some degree of say.
I think both are that way, though, too.
Well,
Church and state are both systems of control in which we have some say.
Do you have say in the church? The church is like blind faith, you know? Like, you follow what we say, you believe what we tell you to, or you're not a member.
But the upper echelons are people who are telling you those things. Again, they're not. It's not coming from some.
But in our society, like, even though we only have like polar opposite viewpoints, we at least get to choose one and vote on it. You know?
Yeah.
You never have that in the church. You'd never have like. Well, I guess that's not true. Because this episode is about that.
Right.
This episode is about. It's about like two opposing ideologies within the church.
They're the political leaders.
Like the Bajoran religious system.
And it does work that way in our churches, where if you chose to, you could try to make a career moving up the ranks of your church to change things, you know?
Right. I guess another difference for me is that, like, we have to have a system of order to live in a society. Right. We have to have a state.
We live in a society.
Yeah, we live in a society. Right. Religion is something that it's like... you know, you have to choose to be a part of it. You know.
Well, no, because I think
you have to be in a society when you live in the society. You are a part of the society.
It's the difference between organized religion or a personal belief, where when we say separation of church and state, I mean, it's a separation of organized religion and state.
Yes.
You know.
Right. It is not a separation of
religion
from
and
you state. It is organized. It's like specifically organized religion.
Right.
Because organized religion has like such a political agenda in our country.
And our idea is to say the ideal is our state doesn't profess a favor of one belief system over another. You know. But you could have a theocracy. I mean, that's what the Romans, to a degree, had.
Yeah.
Where you had like a theocracy where it's like, yeah, the Roman gods are real and they exist.
Yeah.
You're required to acknowledge that they exist and respect the beliefs and pay homage to them. But you can also believe in whatever crazy made up bullshit you want. The big conflict with the Christians were like, no, the Roman gods are not real.
Right.
If they had just been like chill and been like, yeah, we have our one god and you've got your mess over there, it wouldn't have been the same conflict. You know?
Totally. Yeah, which is fascinating. I can't imagine living in that time, because I mean, you keep talking about being Jewish in this episode, but like, if I were one of my ancestors and I lived in, you know, like Rome or something, I mean, I would probably believe in one God, and I would probably want to have the right to say that those other Roman gods are not real.
Right.
But it's so interesting because like I don't have any of those religious beliefs now.
Right.
Like I believe that there is something that every religion is trying to describe, and I don't know what it is.
The
but
continuum.
Sure. Yeah, it's
I've already solved this problem.
But I think that I'm very open to the idea that there is something.
Yeah.
You know, but I have no idea what the fuck it is, and like I don't think any religion really knows what it is. Right. My favorite description of it is Taoism, which is like in Taoism there is no real God. There is just the Tao, which is the way.
Right.
And it is like this path of like righteousness, I guess you could call it, or whatever. But I always just thought of it as like this like energy of some kind. Like the Force to me makes the most sense. Like let's say that the Tao is the Force. It's like this energy, and if you tap into it, then your life can improve.
To be fair, the reason you feel that is because the Force is backed up by something real and measurable, aka midichlorians.
No.
And the Tao doesn't have an underpinning.
No. Midichlorians ruined the Force. They like ruined it. Don't. You're just doing. You are Kai winning me right now. You're just baiting me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're just walking into my classroom and trying to see what I say about the fucking wormhole right now.
You believe in the Force, my child.
I think the Force is my religion on Facebook because the Force makes more sense to me, and obviously not as like, not as like lightsabers and jumping far, but like, an energy field that binds us and penetrates us and binds the universe together. I buy that.
Sure.
Like that sounds legit to me, and sometimes I feel like I am more like in harmony with myself, and that's when I feel like I'm in touch with whatever that is.
That's great.
And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just internal. I try not to be specific about it because like, I don't know. If it makes me feel good, that's great. And if I ever...
It is a personal thing.
It's a personal thing. And if I ever put it into a box or put words on it, then it becomes an expectation. And then I feel like I'm, like, not giving myself enough credit to live my life in a free and open way.
Yeah, there are other people who have that feeling, and they're like, oh, I must share this with other people. I must dedicate my life to teaching people how to also experience this thing.
And that's what bothers me, is because it's the assumption that theirs is right and mine is wrong.
Yeah, well, that's some people, that's conviction. You're like, I feel so strong.
Yeah.
That's outside of the religious thing. People go into government service for these kinds of same things. You have this conviction of your rightness,
right?
And so you want to structure things to bend to that direction,
right? And it's interesting because, like, in matters of spirituality, I can't imagine having that conviction.
I thought I saw my name.
Hey, Joe, what's up?
No, it's
you shut your damn mouth, Doug.
I didn't remember the context because I hadn't seen it. But I'm sure I was right with whatever.
Religion bills itself as an authority beyond reproach. He's talking about you baiting me with midichlorians, I think. Yeah, totally Justin.
Oh yeah, and so here's the thing.
Yeah, he's talking about midichlorians. Yeah.
Some religions do what he's saying, and some don't. That's the thing. Is also it's way too easy to broad stroke paint religion. It's as if we judge all governments by dictatorship.
Sure,
you know
that's true, and that brings me back to Taoism in that. There is like more modern forms of Taoism where they actually created deities and worship them.
Interesting.
Which is specifically against what like the foundation of Taoism is.
It doesn't matter. It's super easy to pervert any one of those beliefs. You know?
Yeah, and like it becomes a system of control in that point. But it becomes a system of comfort and a system of control.
Yeah.
Like if you're providing comfort for someone, then then you do have power over them, like the state. Yeah. So
I mean, we argue about the meaning of words that people wrote down 200 years ago.
Yeah.
And the church argues about the meanings of words written down 2,000 years ago.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know, it's just fascinating to me.
You just need to get more people to agree with your interpretation.
I was a religious studies minor because I'm like really into this.
Yeah, I love it. And it's Joseph Campbell was for me the one that made me look at religion in a different light.
Yeah.
You know?
How far are we into the show? We're 2.5 hours in, but we just started the second episode. We literally, what's the time code here that we're at? We're at 3 minutes into this second episode.
We typically jump around. So.
Yeah, totally. But they did a brilliant job of setting up church versus state in this episode, of not making it as clear as it normally is to people like me who are liberal. And then on top of that, this does tie into the other story of Vedic Burial coming and like the plot and all that and like the mystery that's involved in the episode. So just so well written. Let's get a look at what's her name, Lyra or something.
She's real cute.
Yeah, I love this actress too. Neela?
No, not that
I think so.
That's a security seal. You need an EJ7
Also,
interlock.
there's a thing that I'm not sure.
Oh, he doesn't have his EJ7 interlock.
EJ7 interlock. Do you think that her feelings towards Miles are true and real, or do you think it's part of her?
Well, let's watch that scene, because there is a scene where they're in the shuttle bay together. Oh my god, I went right to it. I'm a fucking...
You're a scene jumping genius.
Scene jumping genius.
Look.
I think I...
Yeah, it's
just past it.
Just past where she says the...
Yeah. You can do it.
You know, you don't put on any airs.
Right, she likes him more than other people in the station.
Nicer.
I love this actress.
Yeah, she did work out better than the other one.
Yeah.
Look, I'll close up here.
Right, and then this is like...
You can
take off.
Thankfully, he's thinking of his jump stick right now. He's like, you know what? I do have to be careful who.
He even says "on your toes, O'Brien."
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's one of my favorite end scene tags.
Yeah,
in this
it's
episode.
really clever.
On your toes, O'Brien.
Okay, is this put on or is this legitimate?
Right.
Tension here.
I think it's legitimate. I think she is a woefully underutilized character.
I know, she's so good. There we go. That's what I want.
Still got it, O'Brien.
Oh wait, let's hear it.
On your toes, O'Brien.
Okay, no, go back. Go back 10 seconds. Okay, perfect. Look at him. He's like steely-eyed, and it's just like and then part of him is like a little bit like, yep, she's definitely trying to get my jump stick.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, totally. I think that she really does like him, and I think that I don't know if she feels romantic towards him or not, but I think that
she's crushing on him, and she thinks that
I don't know. I think that she's feeling guilt at the fact that she does not think Starfleet is good for the station, and she's willing to
she's already murdered somebody.
Yeah, she's already killed a Starfleet officer. She's like a terrorist against Starfleet, but this one guy has treated her well. This one guy is making her feel like maybe she's not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And she just has these intense feelings towards him.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think they're romantic. I think it plays that way, but I think that what she's feeling might be a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, I agree, but I do think
it's played so well.
But there's an undercurrent of attraction to it.
It's definitely played that way. Yeah. I definitely
and
feel that.
I think it's real. I think this is the kind of thing that I would also love to explore in a serialized version of Deep Space Nine, where you have this character existing longer term in the series, like a whole
where she's like Michael Eddington, or
where she imagine if you take the opening show and then the closing show, cherry pick a couple of the other one-offs that we liked, and then these, instead of being bookends, are a through line.
Right.
And then you have the Neela character throughout that 13-episode run.
Yeah.
So you get to establish, and the attraction between them can be explored a little bit more, you know?
Yeah. We also... Good freeze frame.
Yeah. This is on my Facebook meme page. I have because I do the Creighton album, so I have an album called Bleps and Boops.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I've gotten real good at blep pausing.
Yeah, their relationship is just great. I mean, fuck, they did
and I love the
such
actor
a good job with
plays,
this.
her Neela.
Neela, she's awesome.
She's really good.
So they have these plasma conduits instead of Jeffrey's tubes. This is when we find the
right.
I'm gonna turn the sound off. This is when we find the remains of the ensign,
tool.
of the tool and the ensign.
But
yeah.
how big was that fucking tool?
Yeah, I mean, like a hand phaser could melt to that amount of.
I don't know. That's a big pile of phaser.
What maybe like they had those giant fire extinguishers a couple episodes back.
Yeah, but that also means that's like not like the small plastic bits or things that get vaporized. That's just like the.
Yeah, well, I'm not an expert on tools. This is where stuff's starting to heat up with this other plot.
I feel your anger toward me, and I forgive you for it.
Oh,
she's just using children.
Absolutely, literally. And this right here.
What you were doing to her.
I feel your.
This is class. This is like classic Vedic Wind. I feel your anger towards me,
and I forgive you for it. Yeah,
this character is like the 20th level passive aggressive warrior.
Yeah.
She is the master at the passive aggressive.
Oh my god, totally.
It's and Louise Fletcher delivers it.
Oh,
so well.
Good.
Yeah. It's brilliant.
Louise Fletcher. She's like really, really remarkable in this part. Like, she rides this knife edge where it is completely believable that this pious woman tries to kill someone.
Yeah.
It is like 100% believable.
Yeah.
And it's also 100% believable that she gets away with it, that it can't be traced back to her,
Right.
that she has the right lie all the time to
Yep.
get out of every situation.
Yep.
It's also believable that she would have come up within the ranks of a religious system because
I think she is a true believer.
I think that she is too. I think that she is like one of the worst types of true believers.
Absolutely.
Like this blind faith person who, because she believes this thing, has then twisted everything else in her life around. So like, well, if this is real, then how can I benefit? And like, how can I succeed? Even if it's not intentional.
Right. She has naked ambitions.
Naked ambition, yeah.
And then
look, Jake right behind her shoulder over there. Was she on an episode of TNG?
I don't think so. I think this is her first Star Trek.
Let's look her up. Joe's recognizing her.
Yeah,
she's in a lot of this show.
Yeah, and then what was the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? That was like one of her.
Oh, really?
She was Nurse Ratchet.
Louise Fletcher, IMDb.
Yeah, she's an Academy Award winner, I believe.
Yeah. She was born to an Episcopal minister.
Oh, so she's got some good channeling going on there.
Wow. Yeah. Fascinating. Okay, Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Nurse Ratchet.
Filmography. Shameless. Oh, I didn't know that. She was on Girl Boss in 2017. ER.
Heroes.
Seventh Heaven. Heroes. Oh, the first season of Heroes.
Oh,
so good.
So good.
Every
Such
other season,
yeah.
so bad. I see Deep Space Nine on here. It looks like she was not on TNG.
Yeah.
But she does look like the type.
I feel like I'd remember.
Yeah. At least the costume. Yeah, I mean, you see... Well, do you see this costume before this episode? Oh, no, you see Kai Opaka in the first episode.
Kai Opaka.
But then did we see Kai's in TNG? We might have.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Possibly. But either way, like, I mean... Yeah, the whole... Like, this just integral stuff to Deep Space Nine that we're getting here. Like, stuff that's going to last all 7 years.
Yeah.
I love that it's barely in the first season because it's the last episode, but it's here. And like, these seeds are planted early. Mm-hmm. And honestly, this story is planted in the very first episode with Kai Opaka.
Right.
The whole idea that, like... I don't know, just... Kai Opaka kind of grounded the religion of Bajor in a way that makes sense, and then removing her from the story, even though that episode was bad. They removed her from the story, and now there's like this battle going on for who's going to be the next Kai between Opaka and Vedic Bareil.
It's more interesting to have that battle than to have the basically
the good Kai.
Yeah,
right.
like Bajor must suffer. That's kind of the way O'Brien must suffer.
I would have loved a couple more episodes with Opaka, but even her limited appearances really set the stage perfectly.
I think it would have been hard because the conflict would have been between. It would basically be Kai Opaka and the station teaming up against someone else. They could have, I think it would have, you'd have to do some dancing to get to the two of them in conflict, which could be interesting. You know, where it's like, oh, this is as far as Kai Opaka will go before she's in open conflict with the Federation about something. So I think that's possible, but this makes it a lot easier to do the Star Trek broad strokes kind of stories. You know, because there's... Kai Wynn is an interesting character, but she is definitely like, oh, she is objectively morally on the evil spectrum, who then the nuance and the interest is her own justifications for it.
Right.
Not someone who's like wavering or, you know...
Yeah, dramatically, like you can't beat it. It's so good.
Yeah, and you shouldn't... No one reasonably would sympathize, I think... not a lot of people would reasonably sympathize with Kai. Like, yes, her plots for murder to take over, you know, the Bajoran Popehood made sense. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Same with Gul Dukat, who's a popular character, but also you're like... You don't sympathize, like, well, yeah, I also would have oppressed people and murdered, you know, enslaved a population.
Joe says there was an episode of TNG with shape-shifting aliens. The younger one falls in love with Wesley Crusher, and the older one had a costume just like this one. I totally remember that. You're so right. The Dauphin, I think it's called.
Yeah.
That episode sucks. But you're right, and it does look a lot. It looks a lot like her. It's like an older Louise Fletcher. Yeah, totally.
I just wanted to get into this. Started with me wanting to do the Kai Opaka, Kai Wynn, like black belt in passive aggressiveness.
Yes, totally.
And it's constant with her character, like all the time. She's always right on top of it.
I want to watch the scene where Cisco and Wynn meet.
Also. Maybe I'll show a better view of it, but I like that she's got the Han Solo and Carbonite decorations.
I was thinking that. I was like, those are like Bajoran Kais and Carbonite.
She's getting high on Bajoran smoke.
I'm honored to meet the emissary to the prophets.
That is such a trope where like one person walks in a room and the other person doesn't turn around but knows it's
they
them.
Know who they are,
How did she know?
Because the Bajoran spirits are real. Because
no, she did that to everyone who walked in. She does that to everyone who walks in.
She says,
and then she turns around, and no matter who it is, she just plays it off. Or what does she says?
How much I've looked forward to
She says, you have no idea how much I've looked forward to this moment. She just says that to everyone who walks in the room, so that she just seems wise to everyone.
I'm honored to meet the emissary.
Also, I like how
you were coming,
Hey, what's up, BZ?
I didn't.
Bajoran.
Did you notice the Vedic shoplifter's bustle at the back of her robe? The Vedic shoplifter's bustle.
I don't know what that means, but I thought I was going to sneeze.
No, I didn't notice that.
Bother you with my insignificant visit.
I'd hardly call it insignificant.
Thank you, emissary.
I wish you wouldn't call me that. I'm Commander Cisco, or Benjamin, if you like.
But you are the emissary.
I did notice that the Bajoran religious symbol is whatever the opposite of a phallic symbol is. A yonic symbol?
I'm not sure I'm comfortable in that role.
The course the prophets choose for us may not always be comfortable.
It's interesting that she hides things in it when she's shopping. I believe it.
Yeah.
It's interesting that she accepts him as the emissary already.
Well, she has to, because this is another thing where this is the interesting part of their religion is the subjective nature of it.
Yeah.
Where I feel like realistically there's probably a small subset of people on Bajor who are followers of the Prophet and their planet-wide religion, more or less, who reject Benjamin Cisco as the emissary.
Sure.
It's probably something that, in a legitimate exploration of this concept, would schism the church in a major way, like Catholics and Protestants.
You know
totally. I mean? Or no, it would be Christians and Jews. Where it's like,
absolutely.
Here's someone who's believed to be
he's the Messiah. Right.
And then these people are like, that's not the Messiah.
Right.
So on Bajor, I think a similar thing should be happening with Cisco, where, you know... But I do... So Wynn is interesting, where I don't know... She at least out loud acknowledges that he is the emissary but I don't know how much she believes or respects that ultimately.
Yeah, it's like the Pope decreed that Benjamin Cisco is Jesus.
Right.
And then the religion officially acknowledges that.
Right.
So it has to be true.
Right.
And it becomes a blind faith thing. You just have to accept it.
You have to accept
and
it.
we know from her future appearances that she, like, hates the fact that he's a human.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
That's going to come up eventually.
Yeah. Where I feel
She's
like
a political animal. Yeah, totally.
It's
absolutely.
great. Because this is full on church and state together.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's so fascinating.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that, like, if we were introduced to Vedic Wynn as the first Vedic that we meet,
yeah,
we would have a totally different opinion of the Bajoran religion than we do because we meet Kai Opaka first.
You would
and
think
she
of it as an
seems
inherently bad religion.
Right, exactly. And like Kira, you know, we get to know Kira through the course of the season, so we actually have some respect for this religion going into this. So then meeting someone who's like the stereotypical evil Pope person,
right?
At this point in the show is so effective.
Yeah, and I like it,
counterpointing it to meeting Vedic Bareil, who's obviously a good guy.
Yeah, and I love the old school, you know, like our history of conniving murderous popes.
Right.
So that's a nice.
Right. Let's jump to Bareil here.
Why not?
He's really hot.
I was gonna say, yeah, but he also bothers me in a way because of I don't know.
Some fear you as the emissary
He does get better later on, but there's still this level to me that's like, you're all too precious with yourself. Like
team dress, no. It's the wig. It's the wig.
You lost that fight. Just admit it. They love you more than you.
Will never admit that.
Very good at conjuring up enough fear to justify
this location that they're in is the same location from the first episode of TNG.
Oh, the fake jungle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Team dress. Fuck you guys. Show is canceled.
The way that Vedic...
the politics here are so good. Like Cisco says this. In other words, being my friend now might hurt your chances.
Right.
And what does he say? The prophecy teaches patience.
Teach you politics.
Yeah.
And that's such a good line, and like,
and it's true.
Bareil is like so called out, and
because it's true.
Yeah, it's true. It's super true, and he basically like straight up admits that. Like not just in this moment, he kind of acknowledges it, but then when he comes to the aid of Cisco, he's like,
"I can help you clean up."
He's like taking an invitation that wasn't given. He's like lying about it. He's just saying, like, he's instantly. Like, I recognize that I was wrong. I'm on your team. I'm here to help. I see what's happening has become a real problem, and I'm here to help because this is it's no longer like a political situation. It's gone beyond that, and this is like a right and wrong thing, and I need to help you.
But also, it is also a trick to get him to feel that way.
Yeah,
that's the other thing.
Totally.
Right.
Sorry, I missed. He was talking about Bareil looked in the orb of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's being played also by Kai Wynn. So
yeah,
we talk about like
totally. She's just trying to get him on the station. That's the only thing.
Right. Here's the thing: is like the whole thing of him like, oh god, this is worse than I thought. It's not. You're being tricked.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally. She's making it worse to get you on the station so she can murder you.
Like in another world, what if he never left? Like, would she keep escalating the bombings, and how long could she keep her conspiracy of murders going?
Yeah.
You know, she would be the one. The Federation, I think, would eventually catch her out.
Yeah.
If she kept trying to do stuff like that to lure him to Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, because the team is so good at tracking it down.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, let's look at a little bit of that, because, like, look at that shot. It's just great.
The night before Vedic Wynn arrived, there wasn't any school.
This is another example of Kira already having, like, certain ideas.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
And then Bashir's got to be like,
goes to repair.
I just love all of. Well, I want to pause on this other shot because it's so much. There we go. There's such a good team already, you know, and like I just love this whole scene and them just like working out a puzzle together.
Yeah.
Cisco kind of being the center of that. They really set up something special already. And it took them all season to get to this point, like where you have all of the characters sitting in a room together, trying to figure something out
on this single issue
together. Like you normally see them like fragmented. Like Kira does something, or Kira and Cisco are working on something that gets past to Jadzia, passes it to Miles, who goes downstairs to check it out.
Right,
you know?
right.
You don't often see them do this, where they're all together, all working the problem.
Yeah, it's well done.
And Odo's instincts for crime are so good that I feel like they would have figured it out, you know, Like what you were saying, like if she kept trying, they would have.
Right.
She would have slipped up, and they would have gotten her at some point.
I think so. Yeah. At least that's an interesting alternate take. If Bareil, basically positing, what if Bareil doesn't take the bait?
Yeah. Right.
Because I do like to look at these things with that like eye towards the perfect knowledge of the future that we have.
I'm playing this on mute.
On your toes, O'Brien.
Because there's something very important that happens in this scene. Oh yeah, this is when all the religious people show up.
Right.
Beezy says the other noteworthy point: the machinations of Wynn are only now being seen by the others. Prior to the arrival of Starfleet, she was always just another priest.
Yeah.
So Bareil is genuinely being played in a major way. Oh, that's so true. Like, her machinations are coming out. Has Morn walked past yet? Because it's really important.
I don't think so.
Okay. I love this scene. I love the way that this is shot, and I love the fact that eventually O'Brien pops up on the banister on top, and he like yells down to Odo, and they like acknowledge him up there. Like,
Right.
they use the space so well. This
Yes.
episode uses the set better than any have before.
Yeah, because they've built. Oh, there's Lorien from.
That was
Babylon.
totally Lorien from Babylon 5. Did anyone see Morn walk by? It's very important.
I didn't, but maybe I did miss
Okay.
it right away.
Okay, there he is. There he is.
Morning it
It's
up.
just really good. Okay, and then O'Brien comes up on the top.
Yeah.
Which is so fucking rad.
Because this is like the physicality. They've built this big.
Yeah, and they don't fucking use it. They built this big ass set that's like
They don't use it enough.
Right. They just like focus on little tiny spots.
Yeah.
Okay, so O'Brien comes down. There was a cut there when they went to O'Brien, and he comes down, and now they're talking again.
Yeah.
About the security bypass module. And all of this stuff is so convoluted and but so interesting and like works, and I love it.
Yeah, it does work out, but this is one where you have to really be paying attention or wait in show till they do a reassessment of the.
I let this stuff just kind of float past me.
Yeah, me too.
I never really focus too hard on it because like this show is gonna say it's like doing this with a this.
Yeah.
There's Morn again! There is Morn again! He is walking in circles around the promenade.
Yeah.
Just doing laps. Like, he's like one of those women who goes to a mall and walks laps. Like, that's like what he's doing.
But here's something important about. I think I went back enough because I want to see him.
You want to see Morn again?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. Oh, wait. Did we miss him? We might as well unmute it if we're not talking.
There he is. Okay. Yeah, here we go.
Okay.
So, this is why I'm saying, like, it's important part of the Morn mall walking. He went and picked up a Jumja stick.
Is that what he's eating? I think that is a Jumja stick.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
So, yeah, he's doing his laps, but he's also, like, he didn't have it first round through, so what we saw is basically Morn on his trip.
And he was just like,
because he's going, Jumja stick, Jumja stick. Morn,
I'm gonna get a Jumja stick. That was my favorite detail from this episode. I loved that so much because it's very obviously a mistake. Like they cut and they were just having background actors go by and Morn walked by twice, and it's a mistake.
That's why, like the bird person, and there's a lot of these people who are. If you really watched this, you'd see this. You'd probably see the Lorien dude in a few places.
Totally. Beezy says Morn has a Fitbit. And then the way the scene ends is nuts. It's such a good episode. There's just a fucking explosion at the end of this like super long scene.
Yeah.
And because they've been using the space so well, it just like this feels so much more intense than it would have otherwise.
Yep.
Look, Morn is here now.
Yeah.
Did he have a Jumja stick in his hand? I love Miles trying to run into the fire.
Yeah.
I love it.
He does have a Jumja stick.
Well, at least there's continuity. Yep, he's got it. He's got it. Yep, there it is. There it is. It's beautiful.
I do like the fire hose.
Yeah, I mean, all of this is super well done. And both of these episodes that we've been talking about today are bottle episodes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they go down to Bajor for a second.
Well, this one, I would say the last one was a bottle episode because
for sure
there's no real sets or anything. This one I think is the opposite because there's an explosion. There's
yeah, but they still. Besides going down to Bajor for a second, there's like no new sets. There's, they're just like using the existing soundstage.
I take a different meaning for bottle episode.
Yeah, I always think of it as like ship in a bottle, like they don't leave the ship.
Oh, I take it to mean that they limit the scenes to be things of just like one or maybe two places. Where the classic version of it is like we're trapped in the basement. The whole episode takes place in the basement.
Yeah.
Not like, the house itself,
Yeah. Well, I think we can both agree that it is something done to save money so that they can save their effects budget.
Yeah.
And that does, there is a big explosion that must have cost a lot of money. So,
right.
So I don't know how I'd qualify
and then like this where they're setting up like the debris, like that's all stuff that someone has to do.
In the meantime, Garrick pops his head out the door, sees the mess, and makes a mental note for later. Where is Garrick? Garrick has been in like one episode all season.
Well, this is
I'm not happy
about DS9 is that the memory you have in totality is
right.
Garrick's
around all
and
the time.
things,
yeah,
right. And Wynn being around, but it's like,
Kai Wynn.
you all of season one. Yeah. There are some good episodes in season one, but in terms of the mythology and in terms of who your ultimate favorite characters are, zero.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah. I love Deep Space Nine, obviously, and I love certain episodes, but its first season, like a lot of Star Trek, is not that strong.
Yeah, it's been interesting rewatching it. There are very strong episodes.
Right, and there's a lot of promise.
And it's bookended with brilliant episodes.
Right, but you could skip huge swaths of this.
Right, you could.
And you'd have to swallow a couple of turds if you wanted full, complete mythology.
Dude, that was actually Garrick in Morn suit. The first Morn was Morn. The Jamja stick eating Morn is Garrick in a Morn suit.
It's because it's how he can like keep an eye on things. And
totally. That's a definite. This scene is pretty great where
and appreciation of each other.
Where Cisco's like, "You've made a mistake."
Right. He gets to give a big preacher speech. See, now here is where we do start to see the cracks in Kai Wynn.
Yeah.
He can get under her skin, and in a way that is not what she's used to.
Yeah.
And I do think Louise Fletcher plays it that way.
So good.
Where there's times where, again, she's playing everyone around her. She steps ahead of them. Her plan is still working.
Yeah.
There's nothing, she hasn't lost anything yet.
Right.
But Cisco, like, coming at her bothers her.
Yeah, totally.
And I think there's a level where she's worried that he's right.
Sure, and then like also he's the emissary, and she's worried that people are going to listen to him over her, and this outsider coming in and usurping her territory.
Yeah,
it's just so good. It's just so like layered.
A deeper reading of Deep Space Nine would show that the majority of the population of Bajor believes Cisco to be the emissary. Otherwise, when Vedic Wynn becomes Kai Wynn, I think she would have, in other circumstances, made a move to basically undermine that, or to have him be viewed as a false emissary. Or
if she had been Kai at the beginning of this season?
No. I'm saying they don't say it explicitly, but I believe that the majority of the population of Bajor, or at least the believers of the prophets, do think that Cisco is the legitimate emissary.
Yeah.
And I think that Kai Wynn would be fine with him not being the emissary. Like, she doesn't necessarily believe it.
Yeah.
She would have worked to undermine him from that,
right,
if the population was with her.
Right. If she had been Kai at the beginning of the series, she would have rejected it, I think.
Yeah, but then that would play. Then you still have to show.
Because Opaka is the one who says
you're legit.
You are the emissary
right.
to Cisco. Like, Opaka calls him out as the emissary.
Yeah.
Opaka has some sort of vision with the orb that tells her that Cisco is the emissary.
Right. Because if Kai Wynn had been that person, she never would have
gone along with it.
And then the population of Bajor wouldn't have a thing to believe about Cisco.
I'm sure that if the prophets came to Wynn, if she had been Kai at the beginning of the season and said Cisco is the emissary, I'm sure that she does nothing about it.
Right.
I'm sure.
See, that's another interesting way you could tell this. And then the prophets are like, well, wait,
right. Like, what if you ignore the prophets for your own political, religious ambitions, which I'm sure she would do, and I think might actually do in the series.
Yeah, I think they do explore some of these things.
Or like she's upset that the prophets don't actually talk to her, I think.
So that's one thing I read that is in this one she talks about speaking to the prophets through the orbs.
Right.
But then in later episodes she says she's never spoken to the prophets.
Yeah, I think that...
I think it's a small mistake, but I think in-world justification is that she just lies about
she's
things.
speaking to the prophets, not necessarily they're speaking back.
Yeah. Also, I think that she lies.
Absolutely, she's a fucking liar.
There's a lot of interesting things that you'll see people nitpick, which, again, we've both admitted our own love of nitpicking.
Yeah.
But there's certain nitpicks where the easy solution is like, oh, well, you can't believe what the person's saying it.
Right.
Or
those type of nitpicks, like... That doesn't bother me at all. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that that's an issue at all. It's very easily explainable and feels like a waste of energy to be mad about.
It's almost
But
one
I'm
thing to you with things that are too
furious.
easy to explain that make
Furious that Morn walked through the background twice. That's not true. That's my favorite part of the episode.
That's easy.
That's actually not true because the episode's so good.
He's up getting gym just
Here's my only problem in this episode is right at the end. Like, what happens here? So
Oh, right.
So she's gonna like shoot Vedic Barile.
Right. He sees
Cisco sees it, doesn't move. He's just like, oh, eyebrow raised, there's a gun coming.
No.
Okay, now he's moving.
Right.
Now he's on the move.
So I think some of this you have to take to be more overlapping than the linear nature of storytelling
Sure.
can tell us. I think when we see her raising the gun, you have to imagine Cisco saying no at that moment.
Sure. So, but then what about the timing of this?
Right. He's nowhere near her. She gets bumped. He's looking. She fires.
She fires and misses.
Right. The gun pulls up on her.
So the only reason they saved the day is because she missed.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was a little unclear about.
It's possible that they wanted to film it where it's like she was bumped or something, but they definitely make it look like it really just looks like the issue is the recoil of the...
I think you're right, the recoil of the phaser.
That's him looking past it. See, there she gets bumped.
Yeah.
We're like, that could have been it, but her gun's
Right.
not up high enough.
The faces in the crowd of the pause, yeah.
See, and then that's it. She just pulls up when she fires.
And he's like, not even bothered. He's a fucking honey badger.
Yeah. The people flopping down already.
The guy in the bottom right.
The orange.
Wait, I gotta move the background so people can see this. Look at the guy on the bottom right. Hold on. We're in the way. I gotta move us. That guy on the bottom right. I can't make this work. Just you and him, Doug. Except your arms are cut off. It's not gonna work. It's fine. We are in a limited space here. But that guy is doing the background acting of his life right now.
So yeah, she just gets... Oh, then the older Federation couple. Who seemed like the guy with white hair.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like, who are they?
Yeah.
They look like a married couple cosplaying Star Trek while existing in the Star Trek universe.
What a crowd.
Yeah.
This is quite the crowd. Yeah, so it's interesting that they got there just a hair too late and really just got lucky.
They got lucky, yeah.
Yeah, for something about that kind of bothered me. I felt like she would make that shot. You know, she's such a competent assassin. She's been like such a competent engineer.
She's an engineer. She's not an assassin. This might, maybe, who knows? Maybe she had a background fighting in the Resistance. Maybe not.
Yeah, probably. She probably does.
But yeah, she blows it.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, they do get there in time in the sense that he prevents her from taking the subsequent shots.
Look at that freeze frame.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty awesome.
And then the shadow almost looks like the Nike jump.
Odo just feels like a chump. Like she got a shot off on his promenade.
Yeah, and I also like that. The prophets spoke, I answered their call. Oh, go back.
And I love that Kira looks at Wynn and just knows that Wynn did this.
Hang on a second. There's a guy coming through on the right who's just like, he does this.
Oops,
no, it's
back
okay.
again.
Background stuff is always funny to me. So yeah, go for a second. Yeah, he's coming in from the left. he just walks into the middle and is like, did
Did you see what just happened?
What the?
Yeah, I gotta see that again.
Spoke. I answered their call.
There is
The guy in the green.
in the left, yeah.
Did you see that? That is so good.
It's like Conan O'Brien shocked at a assassination attempt.
Ugh. The costume designs for the Bajorans is so good.
Yeah, although I do like. Have you seen people? There's like photoshops of Kai Wynn with the symphony in Australia.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm posting this on Bajor Book. It's like Spacebook.
Yeah, Spacebook.
How does this? What's the last scene? Oh yeah, it's them kind of. I don't think you're the devil. Yeah, yeah.
We have made some progress after all.
It's a nice little button.
Yeah.
They also used the ops set so much better in this episode, where like you got a bunch of wide shots of people working and cool shit like that. I love that. I wanted to see, doesn't something funny happen when Kai Wynn checks Cisco's pa?
I understand my duty to defend.
Isn't that
the
in this
Bajoran
scene?
faith.
I mean, he just doesn't like it. They do make a joke of it when Bareil does it, and he's like, "Oh, I thought you were going to do this thing," and they talk about it.
And there's that moment where she goes to check Bareil's pa, and he like holds her hand away, doesn't
No,
let
I
her
think
do
he
it.
lets her.
No. He totally moves her hand away.
I beg to differ.
Well, we're gonna watch it.
Because I did consciously think about it, knowing that they had already told us he hates it when that happens. But
Yep.
I think he does it, and then he's like, but he lets her do it for a second, and then pulls her hand down.
I don't think he lets her do it at all. Is it before this? Yeah, because he's just getting to the station. It's after this. Oh, this stuff is so good where they're like,
On the other security systems. And I'll call you as soon as I have anything.
this is like the pinnacle techno babble. I think it's after
It's
this.
coming. This is where they meet, right?
Yeah. So she's gonna try to check his paw, and he's gonna stop her. She's not gonna get a hand on
He's
his ear.
gonna help guide her hand.
He guides her hand away.
No, in. See?
Nope.
Oh.
No, he completely stops her from
You're right.
checking his paw.
He catches it. Yep.
Nothing better than that.
Come with me to the school.
Good call. I thought.
And then he holds her hand for like a long time. I really like.
Well,
it.
see, he knows her game.
Yeah.
This is like the people that go to shake Trump's
May
hand. It's so good
No!
to see you.
I wanted to
So
check your
good.
paw.
I know, but I wanted to play out the thing.
That was good. That was good. That was good. You actually fooled me. I was like, I'm gonna get. No, you won't let me.
And see, and then it's.
And we literally just watched it, and you
Right.
like you
And he
stopped
just-
me, and then and I didn't see it coming.
It works.
Yeah, it's good.
It's the people that do
Paw blocker. Seriously, though, I want to check your paw.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I quit. I'm not doing it. All right, let's rate this episode. This episode is a fucking powerhouse.
Yeah.
What's up, Echo Strike? Welcome. I love this episode.
So good.
It is so good. Well, this is a good freeze frame. Let's pull up our straw poll. So if you're just joining us, we are gonna vote on a rating for this episode from 1 to 10. Our rating system is in bars of gold pressed latinum.
Wait, and then
Bars, slips, strips, and bricks.
Yeah, we do bars and strips.
I'm getting good at making a fast poll.
That's nice.
Okay. All right, chat. Here you are. So vote on that. Click that poll, and then vote on what rating you'd give this episode. And then, Doug, what do you say?
10.
You give it a 10.
It's easy 10. This is not even. This. I feel like
This is the first 10 of the season for you, I think.
I'd be surprised. Well, I guess.
Let's look. You gave a Manalo a 7.108, which is strange.
Oh, that was when I was
This is the
being weird.
first 10 of the season.
Okay, that's my first 10. That's fair.
You give a 9.5 to the.
Oh, the previous
premiere.
one. Yeah.
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 And the previous one, yeah. A
What?
10. What? So this is a perfect episode of Deep Space Nine.
I think it's a perfect episode of Star Trek as well. That's important, you know? It's just, there's nothing in this one where I feel like, oh, why didn't you do it this way to make it this way, you know?
Yeah.
It just does everything, and it's not to say that you couldn't do things differently or perhaps better or whatever, but everything works together so seamlessly. There's nothing that's forced. All the performances are great.
Yeah.
You know, the only complaint I have is that the woman that played Neela in this wasn't introduced mid-season.
And they tried.
And they
and
tried.
to their credit, they did try.
She would have had one more episode, which would have still been fine, but I would have loved to. I would have loved to have seen.
We just got like a Robin Leffler situation where she popped in the episode prior for a second, then we see her in the next episode.
Yeah, it would have been great.
But even that I appreciate. That's more than Star Trek usually does.
It's fits and starts of moving away from serialized to episodic to serialized.
And this is the first real serialization of the show, I think. This episode. Like, this episode takes something from the first episode and expands upon it and adds to it and then opens the door for what's going to happen next.
Yeah. I mean, but they also,
It's like soft serialization. It's not hard yet.
Yeah, and there was some other stuff that was going on even mid-season that are still part of the mythology episodes.
Yeah.
Even if it's not. This one more directly, you know, references the wormhole aliens and the prophets and that kind of thing. So it's more, it's a better version of it, but yeah, Deep Space Nine itself is this like slow meander towards serialization.
Totally. And that lasts basically the whole show.
Yeah.
Like, until you get to the final 7 episodes that are all straight up serialized.
Right.
They really like go in and out of it. Yeah. Like, you have the stupid fucking episodes where Worf and Jadzia are like running through the forest talking about the Klingon heart, and you're like, can we get through this, please? Yeah, for me, this episode is almost a 10.
Yep.
My only thing about this is that I find the resolution a little bit less than satisfying because she misses. It's my only problem. Is this whole thing comes down to this assassin trying to shoot Vedic Bareil and missing, and that's why we saved the day, is because she missed the shot.
It is interesting that they didn't. And every time I've watched this, I've been surprised that it wasn't Cisco's leaping or Odo stretching his goo into her face or something that causes them to stop.
Right.
So what you have to accept is that the prophets did not want Cisco to die.
Sure. And no matter how you look at it, I feel like there's a better version of that. I feel like that ending scene, there's a better version of. Right. Every other scene in this episode, to me, I'm just like, I'm astonished how good it is.
Right.
They tie everything together so well. The technobabble makes sense. The computer babble makes sense. The A and the B plot coalesce and like zipper together.
Right.
In this
it turns out they were one plot.
Yeah, it's been one plot the whole time. Vedic Bareil, Vedic Wynn performances are off the charts.
So great.
I mean, everything about this episode is fucking awesome. The climax of it feels too lucky. Everything else was so tight.
It is the will of the prophets, my child.
Sure, but for me, it like
Cisco must not die.
For me, it's not quite a 10. It's not quite a 10. I'm gonna give it a 9.6, which is my highest rating of the whole season.
Yeah, that's your. So for both of us, even if we don't give it the same number, we both
rated it the best episode of the season.
This is our favorite of the season.
Yeah. All right, chat. We have a 9, a 6, and an 8. Who voted a 6? I'm surprised. I would love to hear why.
Now you know what it feels like to talk to Discovery-ators. What a 6.
Plus 2 points because of the leap shot. I just want to see it again.
Did you say 9, a 6, and an 8?
Yes. Okay. Let's see that leap one more time because it is awesome.
That was a good leap. Jambalaya!
Jamja!
I jumped your stick!
Shot 4! It's wonderful. It's so good. Okay, what is chat's rating?
7.6.
7.6. All right. Okay, guys, this is very exciting. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. We got to get through this first. We have season wrap-up shit to talk about today, and I actually did my homework, and I made a fucking chart. I mean, we're ready to go over here. Okay. So, okay, moving on to best
performance.
I never remember. Favorite character. Favorite character in this episode. And we talked about this in the first episode that we did together, but like, I like so many different characters so much in this show that it's hard for me to say, like, is Odo my favorite character? Right. Is Nog my favorite character? Is Cisco my favorite character? I don't know. So I thought it'd be fun to track that in every episode, who was my favorite character.
And let it tell you.
And like, let the chart tell me at the end of the season, and then we can look at each season and then the show as a whole when we get to the end. So we're gonna do that for the first season today.
We're getting some good numbers here.
Favorite character. So, okay, who do we want to put in here?
Cisco.
And chat, if you want to nominate someone as your favorite character, let us know. Cisco's on.
Cisco.
Odo,
Kira.
Vedic
Wynn.
Vedic Barile.
Neela.
Neela, that is a good one. Oh shit, Neela. O'Brien,
yeah.
Keiko.
Keiko's just, I mean, she's... Oh, wait, no, yeah, Keiko's in this a lot. Never mind. Yeah.
I was like, that's a weird reaction.
Well, because I was thinking it was just the Jumja stick thing and that she was out of the episode. But it's, yeah, she's a core piece of this.
Jumja stick is going on.
But we also see...
His favorite character, Jumja stick, what do you think? And then,
Morn with the Jumja.
Morn.
The reason I forgot about Keiko is we talked about so much about this, but we didn't do a dive into, like, her.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true, yeah.
But no, we're good. I mean, I'm not saying...
I feel like we've talked so much. We got 10 nominees. This is like the most, so that's enough.
A pretty big...
Did chat say anyone else? Federation Olympics. The green shirt! Oh, the green shirt! That's really good. That's the write-in vote. If you wanna vote green shirt, let me know. And we'll add it. Okay, there's the poll. Doug, favorite character?
Kai Wynn.
Kai Wynn.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You like the villain.
Yeah, well, I was torn between Kai Wynn or Neela as my favorite character.
Yeah.
And it's just Louise Fletcher is just too much to overshadow everything else. I mean, she is as big as the space station, and everything revolves around her. Every scene she's in, she's killing it, you know.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. It's well written and it's well acted, and her influence on the story. I love that she's this like machinations, and I love that she'd been playing everybody all the way through. I mean, right up here until the end where Neela misses.
Yeah.
Everything Kai wanted to happen had happened successfully for her.
Totally.
So yeah, it's interesting that it's like it's only at the last minute the will of the prophets derails her plans.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
And Neela I really liked, but it's like, oh,
I'm torn.
But I wanted so much more. I would love to have had that like angry person, Neela, who then has this affection towards O'Brien, and then who becomes radicalized by the very charismatic Kai Wynn.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened.
Straight up using
we
her.
could have done with more. Hey, look, there's the green shirt dude in the corner. I'm torn between Neela and Miles O'Brien for favorite character in this episode. Like, I just love Miles, and like, there's just a lot of him in this episode, and he's just so charming and fun, and but Neela, her story is so compelling and so well performed.
Yeah.
Like, Vedic Wynn is not my favorite character. She sucks.
Yeah.
Like, like that's your vote. That's fine. But she's not my favorite character because I don't like her, you know?
You and I view the character thing, I think, somewhat differently, where I have no problem voting for the villain if that's what I feel like.
Well, there are times that Gul Dukat's my favorite character.
Right,
for sure. But Vedic Wynn is, like, so unlikable in every way. But it's amazing to watch, and I love it.
Right.
But she's not my favorite character. I just love it.
And often,
spoiler alert: she is my best performance, though.
Well, yeah, me too. I'm gonna almost certainly double up. I always have a hard time with the character versus the actor, though. You know.
Sure. And for me, that's very separate. Like, I can love a performance, but like hate the character.
Yeah. I'm
gonna go with Neela for my favorite character. Like, for me, this episode works because Neela is compelling.
Yeah.
And because she has so little to do, but she does it so well.
Yeah.
And it's so impressive to me. Chat. Do we have a tie between Neela, O'Brien, and the Jumja stick? Okay, we gotta combine this into one.
Neela and
Jumja O'Neela is
Jumja O'Neela.
It's pretty solid, I think.
Jumja O'Neela, that's great.
Nice. Okay, and then last poll to run is best performance. Louise Fletcher. Well, I'll just put Vedic Wynn.
Vedic Wynn.
I think Neela should be in there.
Yeah, Vedic Barile should be in there. I think Cisco, Kira, Keiko.
Cisco, Kira, Keiko.
O'Brien.
I think that's good.
Is there much Odo?
There's a little bit of Odo.
Yeah, Odo and Bashir get second.
Yeah, they don't do enough, I think.
In here,
All right, you guys. Last poll for you. There you go. Favorite or best performance? I'm just gonna start writing Louise Fletcher for you.
Yeah, well, and I will say though, I'm torn.
Oh, are you?
Well, I'm gonna do Louise Fletcher, and it's unfortunate because this is also, to my memory, perhaps the best Rosalind Chow episode that they've ever done.
Yeah.
You know, Keiko does not get a lot of good meaty parts, and there's a part of me that just wants to vote for her out of sympathy of like, oh, honey, you got a raw deal in Star Trek land.
Yeah.
And that the one episode where you do shine, you're also overshined by, you know, the guest star, who is...
Yeah.
You know.
2 guest stars. 3 guest stars. Like Vedic Bareil, Neela, and Vedic Wynn.
Yeah, but I would... Kiko would be my close second choice. So it's...
Yeah.
Vedic Bareil didn't overshadow acting-wise.
I guess that's true.
And Neela didn't either. Characters, I think, that's a tough call. But... Yeah, Louise Fletcher is just too much lasered in on the shittiness, the like reveling in being shitty, but also being super pleasant up front.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was going to say before about Vedic Bareil, who I don't like as a character now, because he is as smug in his goodness as Wynn is smug in her evilness.
I saw that. He comes around, though.
He does. He gets better, yeah.
He's someone that I'm a little bit ambivalent on. And I don't necessarily love what they do with his character coming up, but I still like him, you know. I'm 100% Louise Fletcher for best performance. Neela, I think, did a really great job.
Yeah.
But the moment Louise Fletcher walked into the classroom, I like wasn't sure. I didn't remember what this episode was about. The moment she walked in, I was like, yes. Yes, finally, fucking Vedic Wynn.
Yeah.
Hit me with your shittiness.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
We get so much more of her. It's delightful.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. I just think she's phenomenal in this part. Like, Deep Space Nine, in a lot of ways, is defined by its villains.
Yeah.
And Vedic Wynn and Gul Dukat are like the two.
Yeah. And have long-term background villains in a way that
that no other Star Trek has ever had before or since.
Right.
Yeah, and it's so satisfying. I love it so much. Okay, what did chat say for best performance? We have a 4-way tie. Vedic Wynn, Vedic Bareil, Kira, and Keiko. Oof. Damn. We keep tying in chat. Okay. We need one more. We just need a tiebreaker vote. Is what we need. We need one more person to vote.
We'll let that sit for a minute.
Yeah, please.
So I was thinking...
I can't make a name with 4 people. I need one more vote. Who wants to be our tiebreaker? You voted Miss Shoulder Pads? Wynn's like a mellow version of Kellyanne Conway?
Yeah. It's true.
Oh my god. You put Kellyanne Conway into that thing and it's the same person. That's awesome. All right, did someone vote? Please, help me out. Help me out. Yay! Kira wins.
All right.
Booyah.
Thank you for the shoulder pad vote.
Okay.
Nana. Did you want to make that Nana?
Oh yeah, thank you.
Just gonna fuck up the...
It'll fuck up the chart. Okay, well now...
Mushroom scale.
Mushroom scale of this episode.
My first instinct was 0, because this is like straight up regular, everything makes sense. And then I remembered they talk extensively about wormhole aliens versus people that don't live through the timeline normally. And so that's right. We've acknowledged the living outside of time, prophets, gods, wormhole aliens.
Right.
So we're up to like 8.
I'm like a 1.
Really?
Yeah.
The wormhole still...
Because that, I agree with you, but that isn't integral to the plot at all.
It is, though, because...
Only in the fact that Cisco talks about it to Jake, but he says, like, these creatures...
The whole church versus state thing.
See the future.
Right.
What's to separate them from
all
prophets.
of their discussion hinges on that.
Right. But something about that feels...
They're only...
scientific to me.
Yeah, but it's not. That's the whole point.
Sure. I know. I'm with you. I know, but I'm still going 1 for the mushroom scale.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go 1 with a shadow 8.
Okay. God, I think that works. Because it's the mushroom scale, so that
and
makes
really,
sense.
I'm just trying to delay things, for you to chart this up.
Oh, I'm ready. It's charted. I actually did it automatically, so it would just add in what we had.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys, check this out. So, season 1. So the way this works, to remind you guys, is that I get a vote, Doug gets a vote, and then chat gets a vote. So for every episode, we've had 3 different ratings for each episode. And the season 1 average is 6.7.
Wow.
6.8 if we're rounding up.
Right.
So 6.8 is pretty high. That's
Feels
pretty high
real low
for a
to me,
season
yeah.
1.
I mean, it's...
That feels low to you?
Well, the trouble is we just came off watching 2 really good episodes, so
yeah.
But this is why the math is better than the feelings of it, because you binge watch all of DS9, and you're like, yeah, I love DS9, but then when you look at what you thought of each episode as you went, you're like, oh, I didn't like season 1 at all.
Yeah, and I mean that feels to me 6.7 surprises me. It's almost a 7,
Yeah.
It feels high to me.
Right? Yeah.
The lowest rated episodes of the season were Battle Lines and I just had it and I lost it. Battle Lines and Progress.
Yeah.
Which one is actually lowest? Can you do this math real quick? Here, I'll do one, you do the other.
I can't see what the other one is. Oh, Progress
I think
is
Progress.
definitely-
No, Progress. Which one was Progress?
That was the one where they had the stem bolts, the self-sealing stem bolts, and they traded up.
Yeah, we liked that story. What was the other story?
I don't remember because it was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, was it the conflict of the patriarch versus the...
I think that was in that episode, but what was the other story? Progress.
I've already thought of 2 B-lines.
Oh, Mullibok.
Oh, right.
Like Kira with the old man on the planet was, according to us, the worst episode of the season.
Yeah, that's fair. So it wasn't the patriarch.
I think that is in this episode too, isn't it?
It might be in the one that we reviewed around the same time. That's why I have them tied together.
Yeah, Jake and Nog, Yamak Sauce. That is in this episode.
Right.
Honestly, I think that this episode is better than the other one.
Battle Lines?
Battle Lines. I think Battle Lines is the worst of the season.
Yeah, I still
but
Battle
the
Lines
numbers might lie, so who knows?
Don't lie.
Okay.
So, but I was thinking Progress would have been, and I didn't realize that was the episode, but watching the previous one with the dude that played Maritza. If someone like that, or that person in particular, had played the old man in Progress, I think I could have liked that episode a lot more.
Sure. Yeah. Here's our chart, you guys. And actually, let me grab the share link if anyone wants to go look at this with us.
I want to look at this on my own because I want to find out like what my average rating was.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
No, but see,
I didn't know how to do that, but I wanted to.
This is now up for all of us to do our own.
Yeah,
analysis.
totally, exactly. Okay, so if we look at favorite character over the course of season 1, Odo wins it by a landslide. Odo got 6 votes. Quark is up there. O'Brien is up there with 4.
Yeah.
And then we go down to Garrick was only in 1 episode and he's still tied for 3rd place, which is awesome. Garrick, Jake, Nog, and Kira.
Yeah, interesting.
Cisco only got 1 vote for favorite character.
Interesting.
Unless I've made a mistake and he's Cisco and Benjamin Cisco or something,
Right. Well,
which is very possible.
Now that the data is out there for other people to look at.
Yeah. If anyone else wants to help me with this.
Well, the trouble is that whenever there were ties,
Right. Well, when there's a tie, we make up a name.
Right. So that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Is all the times Benjamin tied, he didn't get a vote.
And I think that's fair.
Right. Garrick or Odo got 5 votes. Alone he beat the.
Yeah. So Odo is our favorite character of the season. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
But best performance.
We're tied between Avery Brooks and the Not Visitor.
That's great. Yeah.
That's amazing to me that Kira got up there. I really like that because I did not watching this as a kid. I wasn't impressed with Kira as an actress or as a character, and watching it now, I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really stoked that she tied for best performance on the list. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Colmini.
Something interesting to do would be to check out the percentage of times that a main cast member is the best performance of the favorite character because it's low.
Yeah.
Because it's almost always the the guest stars.
Part of that is my bias, where when they bring in a guest star, if it's a close call between the guest star and the main cast, I want to give it to the guest star because that's it. They get that, you know.
Sure.
In a way where, like, the main cast had better be as good as the guest stars on the reg, you know?
Right. No, I agree with you. Something else I want to do is name our favorite made-up person of the season. We're going to vote on this. I'm going to nominate Major Benjamin Quoto. Let's do a straw poll. I don't even know what to call this, so I'm not going to name it anything. Okay. Major Benjamin Quoto, I think, is really great.
Oh, it's our favorite Tuvix.
Crokel Trandy was pretty good. Yeah, it's our favorite Tuvix, exactly. Let's see. Mulian O'Shear. Which is Miles O'Brien and Julian Bashir together.
That's great.
I love. Jumple Bashkin.
Yeah.
And Benjel Stiltzko are both pretty good. Oh, and you know what? This will just be the name of the best alien of the season. What else we got? Space Bot Mitzvah? Wait, that's not right. It wasn't Space Bot Mitzvah. It was Kira and someone else. Why does it say Space Bot Mitzvah?
Because it's Space Bat.
Oh, it's Space Bat. You're right.
Maritza.
And Maritza. I remembered that so wrong, and that happened today. Space Bot Mitzvah is on the list. Jumja O'Neill is pretty good. I feel like there's better ones, though. Well, we'll put her on the list. Okay. So now vote for your favorite made-up name. We'll call this the best Tuvix. For season 1.
You win an award that's the Tuvixy.
Yeah. Look, there's a saving sale. Shop now.
And when you get the statue for the Tuvix award, it's Neelix and Tuvok separated, and then a sad flower. So Tuvix isn't even in his own award.
Oh, because he's dead.
He's dead. He had to get killed.
All of his friends killed him.
Janeway had to murder him.
Yes. Oh man, we haven't done teams. We actually just started the show this year, so this is the first season of Star Trek we've done.
Yeah.
But we want to do it all. I mean, we're obviously having too much
time.
Yeah, we got time. Yeah, we do this every other Friday.
Yeah.
Or thereabouts, around 2 p.m. Pacific time.
Our target is every other Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, and then we'll see what happens, you know? Okay. Who do you want to vote for?
Well, I have to vote for Spacebot Mitzvah. Because
Spacebot Mitzvah?
I mean...
I'm between Major Benjamin Quoto and Mulian O'Shear.
That's pretty good.
They're both so good.
Jumja O'Neill, though, on the second look.
It's really good. But if we're naming Space Batman...
It can't be Space Bat Mitzvah, then.
Well, okay, Doug, I think that you and I should decide best alien of the season. I don't think that should be a vote. I think that's up to us.
That's up to us?
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't gotten enough research, but I'm gonna go with Space Batman.
Yeah, you're going. It's obviously Space Batman.
And I'm gonna call him Jumja O'Neill.
And you're going Jumja O'Neill.
Although
okay.
he does look like he could be a Crokel.
A Trandy?
Just not. I wouldn't name him Trandy, but I would say Crokel because of the gold lame.
So you're going Jumja O'Neill.
I'm going Jumja O'Neill.
I'm going Major Benjamin Quoto because that was like the first one.
And you're giving him a rank.
And he's got a rank. Okay, let's see what chat says. Mulian O'Shear is the winner. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I love Mulian O'Shear.
That's great.
All right, so our season 1 best alien. We got to pull him back up. I closed it. Fuck, this is going to be hard. I got to go back to CBS.com. I got to search for Deep Space Nine.
I almost used that as the screenshot for my meme this week.
Oh yeah, we got another meme to look at too.
Yeah.
Man, just look at all the shit we've looked at this season.
Yeah.
Here, I'll flip us back to this view. Like, look at all these wonderful journeys we went on together.
Remember that one?
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 Do you remember that one?
Remember that one?
Remember this one that we spent 2 hours talking about today? Well, we spent like 10 minutes talking about it.
Yeah. 1930.
like a blunt instrument. But out he...
I just missed him.
Just missed it. I was close with my time.
All right, here we go. Our winner of Season 1 Best Alien, Mulian O'Shear. Boom!
Mulian O'Shear.
Mulian O'Shear, the most beautiful man in the galaxy.
I'm going to have to pay a lot more attention to background aliens now, knowing that that's our new segment.
You know, it was... I thought of it because I saw Mulian O'Shear, and I'm like, he's wonderful. So it's now a thing that we'll pay closer attention to, because, like, look at that. Look at that wall. He's so good.
Staying alive. Staying alive.
Yeah.
Mulian O'Shear.
He's fucking wonderful.
We had a rule of acquisition also. 7.
Keep your lobes
keep
open.
Your lobes open.
Keep your ears open.
Yeah.
That's rule of acquisition number 7. Yeah, that was
Which
good.
may or may not be true. He said it in a way that could be like, you're just being snarky now.
I believed him.
Okay.
I think it was real.
I think until given other proof otherwise, we have to believe it's real.
Okay, down. Nope.
You already did 10 of us,
Yep,
less,
yep,
so
yep.
4 leaf.
Not looking. Oh my god, I'm looking. Oh, it's good. I looked, I'm sorry.
You looked.
Let me pull it up for you guys.
Mulian O'Shear. Mulian O'Shear. Staying alive. Golden suit with my space dong swinging in the wind.
See, there's some good vamping. What was it called? Oh, there it is.
4 leaf.
When you're having a rough year, but then you see a 4-leaf clover.
I don't know why that amused me.
It's really good.
It's just like,
I really like it.
and also, it's great because it is so explicitly like, we did a stunt. We could have just had a stunt double jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead, for whatever reason, we've chosen to have Avery Brooks jump on a springboard and spring past the camera.
Yes.
So it's like,
It's
I mean,
wonderful.
He's not the one who's tackling the person.
Yeah.
You know, it's just this one, and then he lands on a mat. But that they did have it explicitly. We want to see Avery Brooks flying through the air.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
it's a thing of beauty. Well, we did it.
We did it.
We're 3 hours and 37 minutes in.
Boom.
Yeah. Do we play the game a little
I was gonna
bit?
say, do we win an award? No.
Yeah. It's been long. Do we have the energy? What do you think?
It's up to you. I'm up for whatever. I gotta go pee.
Yeah.
You decide. Take a poll. Oops. Talk to your friends.
Yeah. I think
if you don't want to play,
I do want to play. Okay. Maybe one of these days we should just have a stream where we just play, because it's always so long. Like getting to that at the end is a little tough. You know. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll call it for the day. Oh, that was a fun one, you guys. We every once in a while we play the Super Nintendo Deep Space Nine game, which is hilariously bad, but kind of fun. It's like really hard to figure out what the fuck is happening in it. Amanda, holy shit, thank you for the 35 bits. Oh, you're awesome, thank you. You're the best. Thank you guys so much for Space Batman. Mulian O'Shear, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Do we want to go on a raid? Let's see if any fun people are streaming. Error searching for live channels, of course. Thank you so much, BZ. I appreciate that. Thanks so much for hanging. Yeah, we'll be back with Season 2 next time. Oh my god, I can't wait. So watch the next 2 episodes. We do 2 episodes for each of these. Okay, who's streaming with a small audience? Oh, let's go raid, Annika. Hey, Doug, you want to raid Annika?
we raiding someone?
We're gonna raid Annika.
Oh, sure.
She's streaming.
She doesn't need us, but
yeah, one of these days we should just do a special like game only Deep Space Nine stream.
yeah. Or if there's ever a time where we're like, we're only gonna talk about one episode.
Yeah.
So then it's, you know, or we tell ourselves we're gonna cruise through it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, if we're already close to 4 hours.
We're very undisciplined. We're very sloppy.
Yeah, but that's the fun part.
But these were 2 really good episodes.
Yeah, these took a lot to talk about.
And
all right, 5 viewers, ready to raid. Fuck yeah. All right, you guys, thank you all so much for hanging out. This was awesome. I'm going to kill the stream, then we're going to go raid Squish Cat, our friend Annika. Doug is friends with her also in real life. Do you want to get in here and say goodbye?
Oh, sure.
You're just hovering over there.
I know, because I didn't want to knock things over.
And congratulations to our man, Mulian O'Shear, the beautiful Space Batman, winner of Season 1's Best Alien Award.
Keep it gold in your pants, Mulian.
There you go.
That's his catchphrase.
Yeah. Doug Space 9. Doug Space 9. Doug Space 9. Doug Space 9. Bye.